Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest, and all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until... well, let's just say your hour has come again. The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
You know, I used to actually have that as my alarm clock when I was in high school. So I've been accustomed to waking up with anxiety for a very long time. This has not been a great week for me. I will go into that into detail. However, I want to give everyone a time to fill in. So I'm going to proceed directly to the news roundup and some good old-fashioned bashing of my favorite kinds. And then towards the middle of the stream, I will just start talking about what has happened and what I expect to happen soon and what my plan is moving forward, if I even can dare say that I have such a plan. Sure, yeah, like I said, let's just talk about the usual suspects. At least to the best of my ability. You see, I shamefully source my notes from a specific website that I cannot access at the moment. So I'm just going to have to make do with what is available to me. So first of all, I want to give a big shout out to Mullvad. There are two VPNs I want to shout out that are of interest. Mullvad and iVPN. There was big news where Mullvad said that the Swedish national police raided their offices to try and get user data, and then they just had to tell them that we don't have any records of that kind. So they just had to leave. The Swedish police just had to do the cuck. They did like their big breaking and entering, like, give us all the data, and they're like, we don't have any data. So they just did, oh, okay. And they turned around and walked away literally empty-handed. Sad, pathetic showing. Mullvad and iVPN I mentioned because they have IPv6 support. And if you just happen to be in the market for a VPN, I would suggest either of them. Mullvad has just proven that they don't keep logs. IPv6 support may sound like a weird feature for a VPN to be recommending it by, but... I will explain why that's important as I come up to my struggle session in the middle of the stream. This is from Sky News. Barbie doll with Down's syndrome. First launched in 1959, Barbie has faced her fair share of criticism for unrealistic body image and sexualization. Now the brand is pushing to offer a more diverse range of dolls, giving more children the chance to play with toys that look like them. And the real kicker here is this. This is the caption for this image. British model Ellie Goldstein with Barbie's first doll representing someone with Down syndrome. It's the same thing with Jazz Jennings. There seems to be this thing where there's like a particular kind of people who, regardless of their impairments, can just become models and reality TV stars and political icons. It's just crazy. Normal people, they have to suffer. They have to they have to go to Hollywood and get raped like everybody else. But when you're British, you can just be a Down syndrome model, I guess. Really crazy. I don't know how that works out. And then speaking of, I don't know how this relates. I guess kind of, because he's their biggest fan. Donald Trump lost his civil case. He was accused of sexual misconduct or some shit, and he was found guilty. This is a shitty opinion piece, but it was what I found. And then I read through it right before the stream, like, oh, this is actually kind of shit. But I did like this line of questioning. The prosecutor, I guess it's not a prosecutor in a civil suit, it's just the adversarial attorney. He asks, and you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do everything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. That's what you said, correct? Mr. Trump says, well, historically, that's true with stars. He asks, is it true with stars that they can grab women by the pussy? Mr. Trump says, well, that's what, if you look over the last million years, I guess, that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately. The attorney again asks, and you consider yourself to be a star? And Trump says, I think you can say that. Yeah. No, this is funny. This is very Trump, but I don't think it helped him at all because he did lose. And I think he owes them like several $million now because he grabbed him by the pussy, I guess, and basically confessed to it on stand. Not a great character witness. But yeah. There's as far as the news goes, God, I can't even pay attention to the news. I'm too stressed out. But I saw that they had Biden did something where now like the border is just completely open. So now there's like all these videos of just mobs of people walking through El Paso. I guess that's just their plan, huh? They're just gonna let them all in. But I don't know. Maybe cool Europeans will also come in and balance it out. Probably not to the tunes of hundreds of thousands like in El Salvador, but along those lines. Talk more shit about Trump. I could. I mean, he's not going to win. I honestly was really hoping that after January 6th, he would just completely disappear. I never wanted to hear from him again. And it's not happened. He's running again, and I'm unfortunately having to hear about him again. And, you know, people still get really defensive about him and said, like, well, what was he supposed to do? He didn't know what to do. He didn't just have the force. I remember thinking immediately after January 6th, he should pardon them. I was waiting for that. I was expecting him to in his last week. And people still give me shit and say I'm falling for the Jewish line that he should have done something else. And if it's not Trump, who else could it be? Look, here's what you do. I'm sticking to this. I am telling you, just don't vote. Completely divorce yourself from the federal government. Do not participate in this charade. I want them to look at the voter turnout each election and see an amount of like 10 people per state. That is their assent. As long as people still cast votes, I'm pretty convinced that the system will remain in place. Zog, Josh, exactly. Yes, Republican Goyam, do not vote. You can vote for you can vote in state classes, I guess. I don't know. I'm never voting again. I'm out. I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what will bring down the system, capital S system. I can just tell you this. I ain't voting ever again anywhere. I'm not voting for lunch. Somebody asked me, Josh, do you want pizza or do you want squid? Do you want plain, raw, uncooked squid? Everybody else in the office is Chinese, and they're 50-50 on the raw squid or delicious pizza. What do you vote for? I'll look them dead in the fucking eye. I choose, motherfucker, not to exercise my right to vote. And when I'm eating that raw squid, still alive, like a proper Chinaman, I can at least know that I played no part in this, and it's not my fault. Okay? That is... That's where I'm at on the political system. Poll. Sir, have you not been listening to me? Can I do a poll with one option? I want to see this. Question. Answer. What do we get? What do we get if I do that? Answer or no? No, delete this. I'm deleting this poll immediately. There we go. Question, answer, 0%, no, 0%. Poll completed, 0 votes. Bazinga. I win again, baby. You can't stop me. You may not think that I'm a guy that has a plan to overcome everything, but I am indeed that guy. If you choose not to decide, you've still made a choice. No, I disagree. Simple as. Okay, here comes the bashing part. I have a couple things saved from various centers on the internet. This is the LGBTQIA plus. They forgot the P. LGBTQIA P plus. Let's be inclusive here. Safer Sex Guide. Medically reviewed by Janet Brito, PhD, LCSW, CAST. I guess not LGBTQIAP+. Last update on the 2020, so. I wanted to point out one thing here in regards to this. Why is it when they use pictures of gay people, it's always like the most disgusting looking people imaginable? I think this is Inside Condoms. So this article was pointed out to me because it has very interesting vocabulary. When they're talking about condoms that actually go inside, they explain, designed to line the walls of the front hole, vagina, or anus. An inside condom can use for penetrative sex involving the front hole, vagina, or anus. So I'm interested in knowing... this is actually kind of base, because when I think, because when I saw this, I was thinking, like, okay, so I guess the vagina is like has been replaced with the term front hole, but now when I'm looking at this, it looks like the author has refused to designate that the vagina, the neo-vagina is actually a vagina, and has categorized them distinctly as the front hole. So now, righteously, Troons only have... Wait. A note on terminology. For the purpose of this guide, we've chosen to include alternative words for readers to use for their genitals. Whenever we use the medical term vagina, we'll also include front hole, as clinically recommended by the British Medical Chronicle Pregnancy and Childbirth Journal. I have to see this. That's the real kicker, not this shitty article. I want to see BMC means British Medical Chronicle, right? Let's see this. Come on now. British archive.is does not want to fucking work. Let's see. Copy link. And then I want to just crop that out and see if this article has not been taken down the chain. Here we go. From, what does BMC stand for? Biomed Central, not British. So it's not the British. Unfortunately, I do not have the opportunity here to ridicule the British as I would prefer to. I don't know where the fuck this comes from, but from erasure to opportunity, a qualitative study of the experiences of transgender men around pregnancy and recommendations for providers by Alexis Hoffkling, Juno Obedin Maliver, and Jay Selavias. Do these people have pictures of them? Because I want to see. San Francisco School of Medicine. Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, San Francisco, University of California. Center for Excellence in Transgender Health, University of California, San Francisco. Where does it say front hole at? Oh, wait, do I have to buy this one? No, this entire thing. This does not say anything about front holes. So this article, this lady, what's her name? Janet Brito was the one who came up with the genius terminology for front hole. It wasn't even recommended to them by the retards from the University of California. That's just her own fault. This has been cited 117 times. Academia is complete trash. Oh yeah, like default. So this, Nicola Murray says, a very important case, a male demands access to a female-only app in space, and when told no, he throws a fit, claims he's a woman, and demands access, compensation, and a groveling apology. Another entitled male who can't take no for an answer. And then Le Soraya Arduino says, always good to remind ourselves of him peaking women live on TV. Peaking is a verb that you may not be familiar with. It means when someone has officially decided that they cannot fucking take this shit anymore. It's it has a pole like counterpart term. I think that this peaking comes from like women's spaces, but on the other side, men have their own term for this too. It's called fatigue. When you think about the certain types of fatigue that normal people endure, peaking is like the female equivalent of the fatigue. I don't like the smell of men's changing rooms, so I'm taking my sweaty balls into the women's. Who gives a toss if women don't want to smell them?
You're a transgender woman from regional New South Wales. You played hockey for 10 years from when you were 16 years old.
Australian, mate.
But you stopped when you were 26. Why?
Something didn't feel quite right, and it has taken me.
Damn, that's a manly voice. That's crazy.
Something didn't feel quite right, and it has taken me decades longer to look back and try and dissect that and understand that I really didn't like being in the male changing rooms. I felt really uncomfortable there. I didn't like the smells or the sounds.
Roxy, you're a transgender woman.
You know, that guy could very well host a neo-Nazi podcast out of Australia with anime women holding up swastika flags, and nobody would bat an eye until they saw what lurked behind the camera. That's pretty fucking gross. It's literally like amazing to think that we let people get away with this. that this isn't like a joke. This isn't like Jerry Springer. This is like the national conversation that's going on. Not even national. It's like an international thing. And we just let them get away with it. These next three images are about an app. There is a very popular lesbian dating app called Her. And I've talked about this before when I do my lesbian dating app reviews, because I think all of them come from Her. All those ridiculous like true dating profiles I read on stream come from Her. However, it appears that they've allowed the Troons to actually run the social media accounts. So there was like a little meltdown that happened on Twitter. Vex, I don't even know what started this, but Vex says, grow up, creep. Her app social says, must stay young for pedos. Are you having some sort of episode? If you need sectioning, can call 999 for the police. The Her app reply says, welcome to God's great gay lowercase I internet. Turfosaurus says, is he flirting with me? The Her app is saying, can the Turfs not afford knitting supplies? Someone started GoFundMe lest their gaping assholes catch a cold. The Her app says, open wide papi. And then there are people freaking out in reply to this. Her app says, in reply to, okay, but to be fair, I'm nothing like Rachel. Her app says, you're the pot, the kettle, and the whole damn cast iron kitchen. You're a rank, festering skid mark, babe. Lobotomy win. Eva says, men aren't lesbians. Her says, weird way to ask for tit pics, babe. Eva says, did a man write this? And LGB Alex says, yes. I didn't realize rusted out, used up tins of beans could enjoy anything but go off queen. Harriet says, blimey, what a very unpleasant comment. Assume a bloke is managing your account at the moment. He says, we won't post tit on main, so stop asking Harrison. This tranny has decided that everyone saying that he's a troon is like, can be falsely conflated with like, you're asking me for nudes. Because I guess the logic is, it's like, you're saying that he's a man to try and like convince him to say, no, look at my tits, I'm actually a woman, which doesn't make any sense. That maybe that makes sense in like teenage internet shit, like when you're like 15 arguing on the internet and like doing voice chat on Team Fortress 2. Then that's like the kind of sexual harassment that children would do. And he's just in that mindset, even though he's probably in his 40s at this point. Her app asks, is this how British people fight on Twitter? This is too easy. Crumpled Apple says, xenophobic too, charming. Please stop making me like the Hurrap tranny. And replacing, oh yes, the colonizers in chief want to spell big words. Empty out your museums first and then we can talk. And then as a result of this back and forth, eventually Elon Musk, I guess, suspended the official brand Twitter account for the Her social app. And I don't know if they're back or what at this point. It's a little bit crazy though. This is trolling. No, I think it's the real app. It's just that they let a fucking psychopath speak for them. It really is crazy. It really, it's just staggering. It's staggering what we just let them get away with constantly. This is from Keith Woods. Keith Woods, by the way, put out a really big list of Twitter accounts. I don't know if I'll ever be able to find this. I'm pretty sure that he's like a prolific tweeter, so I don't think I'll be able to find this shit. But he made a request to Elon Musk of a list of accounts to be unbanned. One of them was Nick J. Fuentes, and then all these other accounts. And not a single one of them is the Kiwi Farms Twitter account. I always wonder how much easier things would be if I had just explicitly picked a side. I've always kind of been proud of the fact that the Kiwi Farms has been extremely politically neutral, and it's been pointed out that we are. But when you look at Rumble and Gab especially, I think Gab's managed to stay alive just because Andrew Torba just went all in with the Christian grifting. And he received millions of dollars of funding written by fucking checks into his P.O. box. And when you see people on other websites talking about the Kiwi Farms and it gets brought up and isn't that the site that doesn't like Nick Fuentes? They can burn in heck for all I care. It's maybe I should just be an avowed either right or left, I don't know, trans exclusionary radical feminist, or just go all in and be a Nick Fuentes alt-right person and shape it like that, because it just seems so much easier to take a side and grift to a specific audience, because it's it's both sides are equally fucking retarded, where they're just they're only batting out for their own team, and they have absolutely no principles. They have absolutely no concept of why things were written the way they were 300 years ago, and they just are playing team sports, and it's very depressing. Sell out, Josh. That's the only way. That's true. It is. But he writes this, outlining a bill that's being passed in Ireland. Ireland is about to pass one of the most radical hate speech bills yet. Merely possessing hateful material on your device is enough to face prison time. Not only that, but the burden of proof is shifted to the accused, who is expected to prove that they didn't intend to use the material for spreading hate. This clause is so radical that even the Trotskyist People Before Profit is opposed to it as a flagrant violation of civil liberties. Dark times. I wonder if this did actually pass. I don't speak Irish. Oh no, there are more green dots than red dots. Okay. Wait, no, doesn't nil, anything with an N means no. Almost in any language. Did this actually pass? Nil is no, ta is yes. That's what I would think. Doesn't look like it's passed. Oh, it has been defeated, but they're trying to pass it still. Okay, I'm curious. It has been stopped at the Senate tomorrow. Oh, it's being voted on still. Okay. Well, let's see what the Irish are in for, since I got people translating ta and nil for me and are talking about the voting. Here's what you're up for. Offense of preparing or possessing material likely to incite violence or hatred against persons on account of their protected characteristics. Subjects to sections 2, 3, and 11, a person shall be guilty of an offense under this section if a person A, prepares or possesses material that is likely to incite violence or hatred against a person or group of persons on account of their protected characteristics or any of those characteristics, with a view to the material being communicated to the public or a section of the public, whether by himself or herself or another person. And then below, in any proceeding for an offense under this section, it shall be a defense to prove that the material concerned consisted solely of a reasonable and genuine contribution. Oh, that's like exemptions. In any proceeding for an offense under the section where it is proved that the accused person was in possession of material such as is referenced in subsection 1, reasonable to assume that the material was not intended for the personal use of the person shall be presumed until the contrary is proved to have been possession of the material in contravention of subsection 1. And you can be convicted up to a fine or a term of 6 months or a term not exceeding 2 years and a fine. So you can go to jail if you are convicted on indictment as opposed to a summary conviction. I don't know what the difference is in Ireland. For up to 2 years of your life if you possess ein Hasspostings. So, any of you Irish out there who intend to be purveying any Hasspostings, you gotta have a VPN, or you gotta use Tor. And I suppose I'll be supporting Tor moving forward so that the fighting Irish can avoid jail time. Isn't it great? Isn't it great that you fought the British for like how many years? Like I think centuries, like 800 years, right, to be independent. And then you get independence and you're just like, now we can finally be a vassal of Germany and impose strict contraventions of freedom of speech on our own people and arrest them for up to 2 years at a time for having any Hasspostings. Good job. It was worth it. It was worth it. I remember someone from Scotland sent me an email. And I think I replied. Actually, I want to look this up real quick. See if I can find it real quick. If I can't find it, then I'll move on. But quick filter, Scotland. Try searching body as well. Oh, this was the guy who sent me the UK Parliament thing, the Hansard, that mentioned the kiwi farms, and they're from Scotland, and they were talking about the Scottish Nationalist Parliament and how they might secede from the Union. And I'm just like, so you're going to secede from the United Kingdom, and you know the first thing that Scotland's going to do is rejoin the EU. And be just like Ireland, just be like a little banking state that exists to hold globo homo money and do absolutely nothing, and censor the shit out of their own people. Like, what's the point? And then the British people in chat are like, Scotland ain't going nowhere, mate. Royal marriage, personal union under the Queen's crown. They ain't going nowhere. Fuck off. God, I hate British people. It's like mental illness. We got a 800-year treaty with Scotland and the personal union, and the king, he holds the crowns. He holds the 3 crowns. Nonsense. That's that. But meanwhile, in the US, there's like a weird thing where it's like everything from West Virginia down to like Texas is like super anti-trans right now. Louisiana advances bill restricting discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity in school. As Republicans drafted legislation that prohibits school employees from teaching sexual orientation or gender identity in the classroom mounts, Louisiana lawmakers advanced their own Don't Say Gay bill Tuesday. The latest measure, which passed 67 to 28, is legislation that would broadly ban K through 12, so the entire public school system staff, from discussing sexual orientation and gender identity in school during extracurricular activities in a manner that deviates from state content standards or curricula developed or approved by the public school governing authority. Additionally, the bill would require teachers to use a student's name and pronouns that align with their sex assigned at birth. Those opposed to it argue that the bill is a targeted attack on LGBTQ plus, come on now, LGBTQIAP plus community and should harm an already vulnerable group. We cannot keep telling our children that they don't matter and that what we're saying with legislation like this, just because the person is different does not mean that we should discriminate against them. I disagree. I mean, how do you... I remember there was a tweet that said something like, don't call somebody retard because that's offensive to the cognitively impaired. And said, okay, well, I'll call them moron then. Nope, if you say that someone is a moron, then you're discriminating against them for their cognitive biases. And then the guy replies saying, well, then how do I ridicule someone for being of low intellect or having cognitive differences? And then the person replied and says, you don't. That's the point. I think that we should be allowed to make fun of people for being retarded. And that how is that a radical position now? We used to make fun of people for being retarded all the time. And now that's like a bad thing. We just want a society of retards. They literally want a society of gay retards who can't be told that they're gay or retarded. they just want the levers of society pulled and operated by gay retards who cannot be offended. This one's from Males in Disguise. This is a long one, but worth the watch. Male in Disguise is brought into HR because he stinks and is offered deodorant. When he refuses, he is sent home. Him and his one other coworker decide to march in protest.
Hi, I'm Sam Decor. This is
Jade Kohler.
And, well, we're here for an interesting reason today. You want to tell him, Jade?
At work today, I was sent home for having an odor. Our store manager, Faith,
okay, hold up. Hold up. Look at how dirty his hands are. I know that this might be like, it's like the video quality isn't high enough, but can you like look at his fingers and see there's like a gray filth all over his hands? I can tell he stinks by looking at him.
Having an odor. Our store manager, Faith, pulled me to the back to talk about something. Sam was asked to be my witness. She said that last week someone told her that I had an odor, and she then said that today I smelled of sweat and offered to get me deodorant. I was then told to go back to work because I said I didn't have an odor. Sam even said that he couldn't discern an odor.
She doesn't. Nobody on the floor that day could.
And I was told to go back to work and that she would follow up with our district manager. She came back then and told me that I had to clock out and go home because I was not in dress code. We asked why the deodorant, her going to get me deodorant was no longer an option, and she offered to go get some, but I had to clock out and wait for her because I was not ready to work. A few minutes later, she said that she wasn't going to go do that, and we had to wait for our district manager, Zamina, to come, and that I still had to remain clocked out. Sam here was given a break, and we, while we were outside, decided to perform a march on the boss and demand in writing why I was being sent home. Faith refused, and she said that she would not be intimidated or threatened, and then told us all to leave the premises.
This actually reminds me, I don't have this lined up, but now that I've been instigated... Ooh, do I not have this saved even? God, I'm fucking stupid sometimes. I swear to God, I have so many hours to prepare for everything. Someone even sent this to me. I pulled it up. Oh, wait, hold up. It's in my brain somewhere. Did I receive it as an email? I pulled it up. I watched it. I decided that I was going to... Oh, I got it through my other email. Okay, here it is. I got you. Don't worry, gamer boy. I found your video in my emails. So this is kind of cringe, but it's also very Chad. Let's watch. Here, this is the poster in case you're curious. Yes, this is somebody from Soy. In case you're only listening, somebody from Soy Jack Party, who was, I guess, is like a high school student, asked a girl out to prom using a poster. It's Rome fell, and I have for you. Please come with me to prom. And it's a little chuddy, and then I don't know what this character's name would be, but it's like a Troon Jack, but with like blonde hair and stuff. Now, there are several reasons why this woman could not refuse to say yes to this. Number one, she has been asked out in public. The friggin' audacity required of a woman to say no. Like, you have to be a genuine fucking mongoloid when the entire cafeteria full of students is like cheering you on, and to get rejected at that point, it's like there's nothing she can do. She has been asked out. She just has to deal with it at this point. The other one is, this is so, like, to have the friggin' audacity to stand up in the first place and get the whole cafeteria arguing for you. That's like a genuine win. That's a point in your favor. I approve of this. I also like how he's like let's get a end of him. Let's get a good picture of his face. Even though he's like blonde, seems pretty tall, he decides to depict himself as the chud jack anyway. That's also pretty. What was the thing that Turkey Tom said when something's, oh, it's like, that's W Riz. That's W Riz right there. I saw a tweet from Turkey, I think it was Turkey Tom, that said like he was pissed off that the site was down because he can't do research. Oh, here. No, not him. It's Internet Anarchist. Is Kiwi Farms down for anyone else? And he can't do his research for his videos, I guess, because the site's down. Don't worry, it'll be back up soon. As far as like this guy though, I bet you he does stink, first of all. But wasn't there like another video about a Starbucks tranny like having a fit and like assaulting somebody because they were just recording him like freaking out at a Starbucks? Do I have that? Starbucks tranny assault. Let's see what this says. Starbucks trans worker who was caught on camera. Oh, this is it. This is what I want. Come on, New York Post. Give me the good stuff, baby. Give me the juice, the grease, the juicy grease. That's what I want. It's not gonna load. All I want's the grease and the juice, my dude. I miss the farms, me too. Me too, lad. I miss the New York Post not fucking loading. I'm gonna try changing my VPN. Oh, I'm gonna try Fox News. One of you fucking work, please. I really hate computer. Oh, here we go. Where's the video at? This better be the video that I want. And this is gonna be like a Fox News clip talking about it as opposed to the actual clip. And it doesn't want to load. Oh boy. Okay, I'll just look. I'm gonna narrate this. Ready? Frame 1. Older lady at the cash register, being old and a lady. Brave trans woman comes out and starts harassing her. Then man starts filming this, I guess out of concern for the physical well-being of this woman. And then the brave trans woman defends their right to not be filmed by physically attacking the cameraman. I believe that this was in the UK. It was in the United Kingdom. I remember this because when I saw the video, which I would like to play for you, but cannot because of various contrived reasons. When he steps out of the coffee shop, there is
got a disturbing story for you. A New Jersey man raging.
Now the investigation. May 25th. We received this information late last week.
I know.
Well, this is like this is like completely unrelated. This is like like some fucking freak in Starbucks putting shit in cops coffee vial. Okay, so that was wasted for nothing. And then after he steps out of the coffee shop, there's like the bobbies and like their bright green, high visibility homosexual jackets. And I guess they go inside. I think he gets arrested for assault, but who knows? This is Queer. I think that this is the guy that went into the Senate or the Congress and got completely owned by real women. Oh, pics versus reality. Okay, so this is Caraballo. This is how he wants you to think that he looks, and this is how he looks. He looked even worse when he was in Congress. This is Frida Wallace. Profile pic versus... God, this guy looks so much like the Suicide Trunella. You know, the one that they use in all the memes, with all the act memes. He looks so much like the Trunella. Wow, this is excellent Photoshop. I want you guys to know this, because I see so many people who fall for this shit. They even keep in mind that Troons and real women do this. They use angles, they use Photoshop, they use these built-in filters that come in on every camera now. And all these people are like, oh my God, like, I'll never find a woman as beautiful as this woman that is on the internet that I've never seen in person. Guarantee you, 100%. She wakes up in the morning, her skin's all fucking blotchy. She goes to take a fat shit, and then when she does her like pictures for Poltards to lap up, 100% mega filtered out. Lighting is perfect. Angles are perfect, like a little bit higher up, and then when you see them out of their element, they look completely different. Blair White, I know Blair White's a man, but that's a prime example. If you ever see Blair White like out and about, as opposed to those like the filters and shit, it's just crazy. Grace Laurie. Keep that in mind. I wish you keep that in mind when you see a picture like this and you're like, oh my God, I like how that looks. And like, even for a real woman, keep in mind that that's how they could actually look like when they don't have the ability to doctor their images to their liking before posting them online. That's what's going on there. If you don't see it in real life, it doesn't count. It might as well be, at this point in time, with the level that machine learning is at, with the abundance, the accessibility of filters pre-built into every Samsung phone, every iPhone on the fucking planet. Unless it exists in real life, unless you see it in real life, it does not exist. It is just a figment of your imagination. It is a hallucination that you labor under. It's not real. Aaron Reed, this is the Troon husband of the Troon, Montana Congress Zerson. Reality versus profile picture. Oh, Stephanie Hayden. This is a real gross one. This is a nasty fucking douche. Profile picture versus how he shows up to court when he's harassing women in the United Kingdom. That dude, they need to bring back the Tower of Terror in London and hang that fucker by his thumbs out the window. Katie Montgomery, profile picture versus real life. Profile picture, real life. That's that goth GF y'all want so much. India Wilbury. Profile picture, real life. Oof. Oof. This was just a cartoon. He looks like Zoom, trimmed out. Oh, geez. It's like Stefan. Oh, this is the guy that was like the adult baby. He's got like a filter that makes him look like a Disney princess or something. That doesn't even look like real. It's like a cartoon. But people will still look at this. This exact filter that makes you look like a fucking Disney animation. Women will post this online and then dudes will simp for it. In this case, men will post online and probably simp for it. Oh, Sophie LaBelle. Sophie LaBelle looks like... This one's not even doing it justice, because if you see Sophie LaBelle like in person standing next to a real woman, that dude looks like a fucking ogre. He's like Shrek without the ears. This is a great one too. Jessica Yaniv looks like Christian. Amazing. And this is a man who identifies as transgender and described the barest essentials of womanhood as an expectant asshole, and stated that pornography is the quintessential expression of femaleness, has been awarded a Pulitzer Prize. And these are direct quotes from Females, a book that he won a Pulitzer Prize, not for, I guess for his contributions to the New York magazines, what he actually won it. Pulitzer Prize in criticism. But his other work, Female, says, at the center of a sissy porn lies the asshole, a kind of universal vagina through which femaleness can always be accessed. Distilling the femaleness to its barest essentials, an open mouth, an expectant asshole, blank, blank eyes. Sissy porn did make me trans. Pulitzer Prize winning author. I'll let that sink into you, by the way. Take a good long drink of what this implies. He also writes this: pornography is what it feels like when you think you have an object, but really the object has you. It therefore is a quintessential expression of femaleness. Getting fucked makes you female, because fucked is what a female is. If you posted this on poll, this right here, and asked people if like what kind of replies you would get, I bet you a lot of people would agree with that. A lot of people would agree with that. That's why there's the bridge between the Nick Fuentes incel and the sissy femdom troon is extremely small. The gap is barely even noticeable. It's just a little jump at that point. Yeah, that's it. That's my nice troon bashing segment. As we enter the second hour, actually, you know what? We'll talk about this actually, and then I'll do my thing. So Nick Fuentes had a scuffle, and I'll play it first and then talk about it.
You need to stop. You need to stop. Hey. Don't fucking, hey! Don't fucking touch him. Stop. Yeah, we will. Sure. Just fucking stop.
You just walk away.
So many dick suckers were saying that this makes Nick Fuentes look super alpha because he fought back. And I just can't help but feel, number one, he does look ridiculous. I don't know why he wears this. He looks like a little boy wearing a trash bag. I really, like, okay, if you're one of those poltards who freaks out at me and hates the Kiwi Farms because we make fun of America First, how the fuck am I supposed to see this little boy in his Negro worship trash bag after he's already removed from the Kanye West 2024 campaign at this point, and he's still wearing like these slave rags indicating his obedience to his Negro master? How am I supposed to look at this and see anything besides like a retard, socially handicapped, mentally addled little boy who has no idea what his actual personality is? I pity this. I pity this little boy. But from the start of it, like they're already like holding hands and playing like patty cakes with each other when this starts. So it kind of looks like he's assaulting him, and this dude's trying not to get physical. He uses his legs, and that indicates to me that he's not a fighter, because you don't use your legs when you're fighting, because when someone kicks at you, you just grab their leg and then you can pull them down to their ass. But it looks like he's just trying to get Nick Fuentes to fuck off. It looks like he's like pushing him against the wall in like a fit of targ rage. And then the other guy just kicks him to back off and then immediately walks away because there's like 4 of these guys surrounding him and he's being attacked. I don't see this as like this other guy is attacking Nick Fuentes, but that's how Nick Fuentes is going to play it off. I just see a confused little boy who's lashing out at somebody because things aren't going his way. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Bufek, that's right. That's right. Am I missing like context to this? It does look pretty retarded. The Bufek, the boots. Oh, he is. He's wearing like stupid oversized like cowboy boots that you would wear if you were like stomping around in the sewer or something. Those are like utility boots for being knee deep in muck. What the fuck is he wearing this for? What is wrong with him? Can you not dress yourself? Is he not on good terms with any woman that can give him like a little bit of help to dress himself? Does his mother not tell him how to dress himself? Rain boots, yeah, but nobody else is wearing rain boots. That guy's wearing like platform shoes for whatever reason. But it's not like it's a downpour outside. This stupid ass fuck. Just learn how to dress. Get Milo to dress you so you don't look so fucking stupid. All right. Since Ralph, or the Kiwi Farms has been down, Ralph feels safe to post things. I guess expecting that I won't make fun of him, but I will. So the title of this is The Real Cruel Summer, and he says that because he says that his enemies had bad things happen to them last year. I don't even know what he's referring to, unless it's like Drop Kiwi Farms, so I've never even heard this term before. I really don't know what he's referring to. But Ralph wrote this, and he's been boring this week. This is the only interesting thing he's done. He's pretending to be sober for May so that she'll come back to the stable. He says, 2022 was a whirlwind from start to finish. A beating in Portugal, the birth of my daughter, the war with Medicare, lies, wins, Warski getting obliterated, Madrid, another beating in Portugal, although not as bad, and I could do on. Ye 2024, anyone? And for me, the year really didn't end until January 2023 with the successful and fun Ralph Mania. I was so worried about that show, and I shouldn't have been. Now that I look back, it may be the last time in my life I was ever truly happy. But I still had the drink, along with the other problem I thought I had gotten over once again. In late November 2022, I took my family to Cuba. It would have been a great trip in some ways if my dog, Tug, hadn't died at the animal shelter while we was away. We found out our last night in Cuba. I don't think we will ever know for sure what killed him. He was 15 years old after all, but I believe it was the vaccines at his age probably made him sick. They made him get some shots to stay there, in Mexico, I suppose. Sometimes they get shock even at staying at the shelter as well, come to find out. Or it could have just been his time. I don't know. Regardless, I just can't help feeling that if I had stayed home, he would still be alive today. Also, he died without me, just like my mom back in 2021. I've always been soul crushed by that fact, even thought there was nothing I could do to stop it due to the CDC. To say this brought back some buried pain would be an understatement. If I could find myself in tears, or I would find myself in tears at the drop of a hat if these thoughts came into my mind. I remember a couple times having to cut the camera of my show because it popped into my head for whatever reason. I remembered having another thought in Cuba. Was the dog dying the end of my relationship with Amanda? Question mark. I don't know why that went through my head. Well, it may have actually been the start of it, although I didn't really understand it at the time. I was having a rough morning thinking about this stuff, and it had taken me a while to even peg what just had come over me, and why, to be honest. when I decided to pull up to a doctor and get some Xanax. I've had some major problems with Xanax before in my life. Before. More than anyone reading this sentence, I can pretty much guarantee you. So I knew not to do this, but the voice in my head telling me I could handle it said, "You got this. You know exactly what to do. Just take a few, they won't notice, and you'll forget. It'll ease the pain." That's one thing Xanax will definitely do. Help you forget everything and ease the pain. Now that pain might be caused or erased, or eased rather, might be eased because you end up creating another greater pain, but still, it does those two things. She came back from vacation with her family and told me some things that her sister had said. Some words that were exchanged through text messaging that I might not have sent otherwise, and then some of my property got lost, etc. Relations between her family and I quickly went downhill, is what I'm saying. I won't go into all that. I regret it happened in the first place and my part in it, but is yet another area Xanax fucked up my life, basically. I like how in this admission that he's like a retard and sabotaged any sort of goodwill between him and May's entire family was his fault. But instead of just saying that, he's like, I regret that I had to do, like, I regret that I had to put down my dog that was sick. You know what I mean? It's something that you have to do and it feels bad. Like, sure, you had to put two between Old Yella's eyes out back, but you know, she was suffering, but that's regrettable. But in this, like when you apologize, you say like, "I am sorry that I did that." This is not an apology. This is I regret that I had to take two and put it between old Mr. Whatever the fuck, Mr. May's face. Now this was in December. I got off Xanax in December, got married in January, and had a successful Ralphomania wrestling show later that month. Then what did I do? Decide to go right back to Xanax. I don't even remember the thought behind it at the time. I don't remember much of the next 3 full months either. Past and present users of the drug know just how quickly this can happen. It's sort of scary, and my problem began to get scary on air. It was no longer possible to do the sorts of shows that I had been doing. I would nod out or be slurring my words so badly, ... much more than if I was just drunk. I wasn't very aware of what was going on. Memory was zero. Some people stopped watching the show, watching spelled without a G, despite this being a written piece of paper. Other people were afraid of me, or afraid for me. Looking back, as much as I can anyway, I don't blame them. In late April, my wife left me with our daughter in tow. I remember that one. I took 1 day to adjust. I'll write about 1 day in particular sometime, but I've been sober since then. 14 days here in a few hours. I don't blame Amanda either. There was nothing else she could do, really. I wasn't going to change anything or was going to half-ass it for a long while before I did. This gave me the brutal reminder of what had really made me happy in life. My wife, my daughter Rosanna, our family. It wasn't the pills or the booze or even weed. I stopped that too. I wish I could tell you that sobriety had made my life easier. It has not. If anything, it's probably a little bit harder, if you want to know the truth. I only had one craving for alcohol, and that was at the airport in Sacramento on day 2. I'm fully aware that the alcohol won't make things better, nor will the pills, nor will smoke. But the pain of losing my life and my wife, and not to mention my daughter, it seems almost insurmountable. We're only separated for now, but you know, I'm also a realist. There's a chance, and maybe even a likelihood, who knows, that I could keep going on as I am, sober on this new path, and still have lost my life. That's what they don't put in the movies. In the movies, you get your family back, guaranteed. This is all, in case you're wondering, this is all a plea to Amanda Morris to come back so that the A-Logs do not win. How does a person accept that unknown, and the unknown makes it worse? Make no mistake, and still go on. I called last summer cruel summer because all the damage we were putting on our enemies. I remember thinking it was pretty clever at the time. This was the real cruel summer, though. Alone in Mexico with no wife, no daughter, just the memories of them dancing in my head. I can still see them when I turn the corner in this big house that I no longer need. I was used to watching my daughter wake up some mornings. Others I would come down and smile at her as she smiled back at me. It's almost like you really lost them. Her pack and play is still downstairs. Many of her toys are, some of her clothes, along with her mother's. It's basically a nightmare now that I think about it. A frozen state there for me to sulk over. A shrine to my failures. That's what I wake up to every morning now instead of my smiling daughter. I am sober, though. I have dropped 14.1 pounds since then. I'm still in contact with my wife and daughter. Things could be worse, for sure. I just won't sit here and tell you it's been easy. I'm not talking about drinking or drugging, by the way. I mean, it's been hard just to live, just to stay alive, just to want to stay alive. It's funny. If I was a regular person, I probably would have killed myself over this shit, to be honest. I guess that's one benefit of being a public person with a lot of people who hate me. I still have an overriding drive to never do anything that makes them happy, and suicide would probably be right at the top of their wish list. Why did I write this? It's not, by the way, I don't want Ralph to die. I want Ralph to live forever and get married to Keffels and live forever with Keffels. Why did I write this? It's not really what you would call a feel-good story, all caps, is it? Well, for one, writing helps me process things and I miss it so much. But also, I think too often people assume guilty here that if they get their demons under control or beaten, that they will magically get back everything they've lost, or somehow their old life will resume apace the very next day. I'm here to tell you that that most likely will not, unfortunately. There will be some rough times. Being drunk won't help you, though. Neither will being high. My mama used to tell me that you needed to feel the pain of life. You can't hide from life, son. It's still there when you wake up. I told her I most certainly could, and I tried for that for a long time. But it took everything from me in the end. I know not to go back there, but where do I go? I don't have the answer to give you. I wish I did. Maybe that's why I actually wrote this, come to think of it. Thank you for the many kind words I've received since I've been back on the mic. They've been much appreciated. Physically, I still feel better than I have in a long time. I think it's coming through on the keel stream. You can actually hear the difference. The messages and support I've received will never be forgotten. Many colleagues reached out as well. I talked to several in my darkest moments, and I appreciate their help. Thank you as well. By the Ralph Retort, May 10th, 2023. So, what do we learn? A, please come back, Horace. I'm really sorry. I definitely have changed my ways. You can come back home now. By the way, fuck you, Joshua Moon. I'll never kill myself. And that is the Ethan Ralph update. Never again. What, were you guys upset? Is that why the chat was moving so fast? I read through the entire thing and chat was moving so fast to the point where when it was moving so fast, I looked at my mic to make sure that I wasn't muted through the entire thing. Boring as fuck. I enjoyed it. Moving so fast, yes. Cat got my tongue. Fat got my tongue. Okay, for all you people who are bored of reading or hearing Ralph's writing, let me get a sip of water. I will now complain myself. I'll write my own sad southern draw article about the wife and the kids being gone. Thirsty. Okay, so the last week has been very bad. Literally, while I was streaming, the site and everything went offline. Because one of our providers dropped. And he dropped very suddenly. And I had been leaning on them more than I should have, because we basically had their full support. And it had lasted for a long time. And literally, like, the same week, I got a message saying, like, don't worry, we have your back or something. And I assumed that if anything were to happen, because I don't fully believe in stuff like that, and thinking, well, just because I've been told that many times, like, don't worry, we definitely have you. And then they're, like, shocked. Like, oh, I didn't know that they could do that and cause those kinds of problems. And I was like, well, I'll try to warn you. But I really, 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 really thought that if anything did happen, he would give me notice. The fact that I was given no notice was a surprise to me, and I think also to him. And so the issue is that when the servers that I have IP addresses assigned to them, but when the network goes down, you can't reach them. So when I had access to my router, but no access to the servers, and this was what, like, it drove me insane. I had access to the server, but not access to the router. I should not say router, I should say switch. And just to give you an overview, here was the issue. The public network went down. I could have still gotten the Kiwi Farbs up immediately if I had just been given 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes of notice. I could have kept the Kiwi Farms up on because I could have assigned a different secret IP to it and routed to it through the front ends. No issue. Because I wasn't given 5 minutes heads up, I had no chance to get in and fix the server and change the IP before it went offline. And that made me extremely upset. I stayed up like to early morning hours multiple times. Then one of my friends, who is a networking guy, was able to figure out a really, really slick way of getting into the server without having access to the public IPs. Really crazy networking hack that he pulled off. But I spent hours trying to figure out how to do NAT routing, which is basically changing the destination IP of a packet. And I figured out after hours and hours of fucking around that no, my switch is really a switch and it has no routing capability. It can't do NAT. There was no way, after hours of fucking around, no way for me to get into the server until my friend found a way more sophisticated way into the server than I did. So then, after fucking around with it all weekend, it gets back online. And then I mentioned that the server was going to get an upgrade because it was so busy, especially with the fish tank stuff, that the old physical server I had bought in 2020 was capped out on both RAM and storage. I needed more storage for basically everything, especially the database. So I had put in for three things actually. I put in for 4 sticks of NVMe M2 SSDs, about 4 terabytes, and I'll make them about redundant, so it would be actually it'd probably be 8 terabytes, but 4 with reflection. And then M2 slots fit into either their own dedicated like space on the motherboard, or they fit into a PCIe slot. So I bought a PCIe converter that could take those 4 M2 sticks and convert them into a PCIe slot, which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, very simply, I just bought more hard drives and a way to put them on the motherboard. It snaps together like Legos. It's the easiest shit. And then because we're also bottlenecked on RAM, I bought more RAM. I had 4 slots open for RAM. I bought the same kind of RAM, and I sent them over. And then right after the site comes up on Tor, by the way, after I got the site up or connected to the internet, there was an issue with the Tor because of a very impossibly hard to explain technical issue that drove me fucking crazy, because there's no way of really diagnosing it. I just had to slam like a full like spreadsheet flowchart of diagnosing networking issues, and that took me another day. I get it up, it's up for a couple hours, and then I get my email saying, by the way, we have all your parts now, do you want us to do maintenance? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? The site's been down for so long and it's only just come up, so now like people aren't used to the site being up yet, let's do it now. And then 2 hours later, I expected it to be like a 15-minute downtime. I get an email saying it's fucked. And I said, okay. They explained that they had done a bunch of stuff. It does not boot. The fans start, the lights come on, but it does not boot. So I get another friend who's an expert at not an expert, but he knows more than I do when it comes to hardware. And he went through overnight because I was sleepy, and he went through and diagnosed it, and basically it was fucked. He actually couldn't believe it. He said there's no way that the motherboard is defective unless they took a hammer and chisel and fucked that piece of shit up. It is impossible for RAM and a PCIe card with M2s on it to make the main board go bad. So he went through and he diagnosed that even the debugging LED wasn't coming on. There's a because it's a Supermicro ASRock mainboard. It has something called Dr. Debug, which is just an LED. It's way easier than most posts. Like usually when you boot up a mainboard, it goes beep, and that's how you know that it works. But when you have one of these, because the server mainboard, it has an LED light that literally has the 2-letter code, and the 2-letter code reflects to what's actually broken on the mainboard, so you don't have to fuck around with it and figure out what specifically went wrong. That didn't come on. So the guy who built the server was pissed, and he said they definitely fucked it up. There's no way that server is bad. And I do believe that the main board is actually faulty because the first month that we had it, the Ethernet port went out on it. There's actually a dedicated, one of the PCIe slots inside of it is actually dedicated to a networking card, and those are very rare in the server these days. Usually you just get a networking built into the main board itself. We had an external or like an additional networking card that could do 10 gigabit per second just in case we ever needed it, but also because the Ethernet port on the main board went out. So I do believe that the board itself was faulty because I've had issues with it before. But once this happens and I wake up to the news that no, really, it's fucked, now what? Like at this point, like I get frustrated when the site's down. I get really stressed out, and I just have like this general sense of unease that makes me very unhappy. And I'm really thinking about, that's why like when I couldn't get access to the server, I was really chewing over what could I possibly do to fix this right now, and I couldn't focus on anything else. It chews at me when I know there's something I could be doing to bring it back up, and I'm not working on it. So when the server died, I really felt like I had been kicked when I was down. Like, not only do I have this other problem, but now the piece of shit's going to fucking break, and we're going to have like a week of continuous downtime. And now that I'm streaming, it's been exactly a week of almost continuous downtime, except for the brief like 2 hours that we were up on tour alone. So then after that, I had a really, really, really difficult decision to make. The server itself is bad. What do we do? What do you do? So I had several options. I could go back to cloud. I could reinstall the Kiwi Farms for literally the 40th fucking time since August. Reinstall it on the cloud again and get it back up there. But the issue with that is that the fucking thing doesn't start, and I don't have a living copy of the server at that point because it just went down unexpectedly. And I'm working on getting everything more redundant, but things keep happening so fast I don't fully have time to focus on that. Or I could, buy parts and try to have them like fix the main board by swapping it out. Swap out the main board and reassemble it with a compatible motherboard, and hope that the motherboard, the new one, is compatible. And then if I'm doing that, then I might as well try to upgrade it to like a better main board with a dual CPU socket, and then have them extract the old one. I'm just going on like that sounds like just more opportunity for them to fuck it up. You know what I mean? For that shit to be fucked up. And I'm just sitting there thinking, what the fuck do we do? And then the guy who built the server suggested, here's an idea. Here's what I think you should do. Buy a fully built, refurbished server off of eBay. And then once that's in, swap all the hard drives over to the new server. And when that's done, send me back the old one, and then I will take my time and fix it, swap out whatever parts are necessary, and we'll get that server back up to exactly where the new one's at in terms of RAM and storage and shit. And then we'll send that one back, and you'll have a fully redundant copy of the server. I'm thinking that's right. That's the right thing to do. It would cost money. It costs over $5,000 to get this replacement, but I told him I need it overnighted as soon as possible. And I think it's on their way right now. I think it's coming at 10:30. And then I realized I'm going to be out of commission for 2 days. I think that there's nothing, literally nothing I can do besides talk to different ISPs and maybe see if they're interested in helping. And just basically network a little bit. Literally network, not like internet network, but human consciousness network. And so, to make use of these last few days, and the time that I have with my site being down, I decided to play Path of Exile, Crucible, Hardcore League, and I leveled a Marauder up to about 60 something, and I was playing with Herald of Agony, and I died. Here's how I died too. I've only beat the actual campaign like once or twice on softcore. And then I got up to like the desert part in Act 8, and I said, I'm doing so well. I'm gonna try one of the Crucibles, and Crucibles are like opt-in difficulty. So I get up to the Crucible, and I thought, I'm doing so well. I'm gonna try this Crucible at like 80. I think 80. I can do 80. It goes from like 0 to 100, and I've been doing them at like 70 and 50, 75. I'm doing just fine. I'll do this one at like 80, and then I fucking died. I ripped so hard. That was the biggest tragedy this week. I sat there because that was this morning. I was playing like, I should be preparing for stream, but I want to finish the campaign real bad. So I'll level up a little bit. I'll try to get to Kitava the second round, and then I fucking act. And then I went back and I started rolling new characters, and I kept dying literally like 5 times in a row to like the Roas in the second map, the mud flats, the Roas, when you pick up the little seashells, I just kept dying to the fucking Roas over and over again. I was so pissed off. I was like, how did I get through the entire game almost the first time around? But then when I go back to play and trying to do the first act and just get through the Roas, I just kept dying to them. I was really pissed. So now I'm going to do a cold damage over time, which the thing is I placed, like, I looked at my character list, and I had like all these elementalists and necromancers and shit. Like, God, I only play the fucking witch. It was nice to play Marauder just because it was different than what I usually play, but play what you know. Play what you know. So that was the worst thing that happened to me this week. As far as the Kiwi Farms goes at this point, it's difficult. The difficulty comes in that there are so many things that I need to stay online. Well, once the site is back up again, and hopefully that will be today. If it's not today, tomorrow, hopefully. We'll get it up on Tor. When it's up on Tor, everyone can just use the Tor browser to connect to the Kiwi Farms. The next step is how to figure out how to get it onto the ClearNet. And it's not just the same as connecting to the internet, because I also need DDoS protection, because surprise, Liz Fong Jones and the people trying to shut down the site know technology really well. And one of the things that is a technological difficulty to overcome is DDoS protection. And there are so few companies that do this, and the ones who are able to do this don't want anything to do with us at this point. So I have very limited leads with that. However, and this is not a mystery, this is something that I've done before. IPv6 is effectively immune to DDoS attacks because DDoS attacks mostly come from old computers that are compromised by botnet viruses, and they do not have IPv6 capability. So if you, for now, as there's more adoption of IPv6, there will be more IPv6 based attacks. But for right now, IPv6 is mostly immunized from DDoS attacks. So when I do get public internet access, I'm going to try to just do IPv6 and see if we can mitigate attacks normally through that. Because not only will I'll have like multiple points of entry, we'll have Anycast up, we'll have IPv6 in different places, and then hopefully that can just absorb the attack. We'll see. IPv6 is okay. So if you don't know, let me see if I can put this up on screen. Just a very, very crash course. Can I? Okay, this works. I'll show you this. No, wait, that doesn't work. I'll just write it on text. Just real quick. This is a quick technical explanation. So, when the internet was founded, like in the I think in 1981 or 1983, January 1st is the official like birthday of the internet. They have IP addresses that look like this, right? And then you have different level networks. So you have like an 8 is every IP address that exists under the first number, and then you have a 16, which is so there are like 255, 256 16s and an 8. And then you have a 24, which is this. And this is the minimum number that they assign you. So over time, like when the first networks were announced, they gave out 8s to like a bunch of people. Like the Department of Defense has like multiple 8s that they don't use. And there's only 256 of those on the entire internet. The 17 is owned entirely by Apple. So they gave out tons of these, and then they started harboring back and giving ISPs a 16, which there still isn't that many of those. Like for instance, Jim Watkins, who got into technology as like a pornographer, he hosted Japanese porn out of Las Vegas in the 1990s, and that's how he got his start. That's how he eventually took over 2 Channel from the Japanese. He has an entire 16, which is worth like over $1 million these days, because it's I want to say it's like $3 per. It's like $10,000 for a 24. So you have to keep in mind that a 16 has 256 of those. So it's a $2.5 million, right? Is that, yeah, $2.5 million for a 16, and then you times that again by 256. And Apple owns $655 million worth of IP addresses just in IP alone. So, and that's because they've run out. So IPv6 came out like decades ago, but the thing about IPv6 is that it's really ugly. First of all, it uses hex, and it looks like this. And there's geez, I want to say 8 of these octets like this. And then they're not written the same way. So this is like, that is one way. But then if you have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, or 1, that is the same as writing this. So like people hate IPv6 because it's just way messier to write. There's so many numbers, but it's abundant. So it's easy to get IPv6, and they've run out of IPv4s. Also, you can, for instance, let's just say, theoretically speaking, as a gamer, just as between us gamers, let's say that you were giving a 32. This is what a 32 looks like in IPv6, and you have access. You can assign all those IPs that you want. Now, you could do this. You could do something like this. Like this is pretty common. You know, you want to say, how about dead beef? That's pretty funny. You could write a couple words, like how about head? Wait, no, you can't write head. You can't write dead though. What about an IP address like this? You know, that is completely legitimate in IPv6 space. Just saying. And you could use that and piss people off. Just a thought experiment. Now you never want to do that if you already have issues finding hosting, because I think if your network provider looks at your IP address and sees that you're using 1488.41 dead, and maybe actually for extra you can just put 101 there as LOL to indicate that not only are 41 dead, but you find that funny. If they saw that, then maybe you would be in trouble and they would probably not peer you anyways. But that is something that you could do. So there are some advantages to IPv6 is what I'm saying here. It converts to binary. So that's the plan, and there's no issue with me saying that because it's going to be public anyways. That's how the internet works. People keep saying, why don't you keep things secret? Why don't you say less? Because, my friend, you go to DNS, you type in AAA record for kiwifarms.net, and then you see that they're using 1488.41 dead LOL as their IP address. Well, then you can just look that up and see what they're doing. But you will need, probably, if we're going to go this route, you're going to need IPv6 access. And there are two ways of doing that if you don't have it natively. If you're on a mobile phone, congratulations, you have IPv6. If you're on any modern network ever, congratulations, you already have IPv6. If you live in Tajikistan and you are on a computer that's a network that hasn't been touched since the Soviet Union days, you'll probably need support for IPv6. And there are two ways of going about this. You can get a VPN that supports IPv6, like Mullvad or IVPN, or you can use Tor. This is the interesting thing, and I will actually draw this, right? So here's a fun little doodad that is in my consideration, okay? So we have this, right? So as I mentioned, we're not on the internet. We'll say that we have the Kiwi Farms right here. I'll make it green so you know what it is. Say KF right here. Make it big. This is the KF. You desperately want to get to the Kiwi Farms because this is how you sneed. This is how you sneed. You want to get to it. Then you have all these boxes, right? So this is the big internet. And you don't have access to this. Now we have these servers right here. Well, we'll say that these two are based and connected to the Kiwi Farms. And these two are not. They can't connect to us for whatever reason, right? And then I'll put you over here. You'll be a circle, a rounded thingy. You want to connect to the Kiwi Farms. And this is, unfortunately, this is your IP. And you can't sneed because you're connected to shitty IP. So there are two ways to go about this. You could connect, theoretically, let's say that there's a VPN server like in the Netherlands that works just fine. So option A is that you can connect to the VPN, which can connect to the server that connects to the Kiwi Farms. The alternative way to do this is that you have Tor, right? I'll draw another box. And Tor is actually made up of many different contributing nodes that are all hosted all over the world on IPv4 and IPv6 and both. And you're thinking like, and we'll say that this, about half of them can access the Kiwi, or no, actually they would connect to an intermediate IP. So these two can connect, these two can connect. And then these ones can't. They're on the shitty ones, right? They're on the shitty ones that can't sneed. And you want to connect still somehow. As it turns out, if you connect to Tor, it is smart enough to understand that the ones on these cannot connect, but these can. And it will magically route you, right? We're gonna make this a bendy one to emphasize that this is magic. It's going to be smart enough to know that, wait, that's not a magical bendy enough line. I'll make this like this, and then make this right this. There, that's magical. It's smart enough to understand that you can connect to that one. So what I'm saying is, once it's up, if it's up anywhere in the world, if you want to access it and you don't have a VPN or you don't have direct access through your ISP, if you just go to open a Tor browser and go to kiwifarms.net, the Tor routing system will actually be able to connect you regardless of how well propagated through the internet I actually am. So to clarify, once again, once we're up and I am fighting the hard battle of trying to stay up on the internet without, while having to deal with insane shrooms, you have two options. VPN plus good exit point or to Tor. Either through ClearNet or .onion. .onion is safer, but you can do it on the ClearNet. I will try to keep support for Tor up as much as I can. And those are your options. At least until we're up everywhere, which I hope to be eventually. So, very fascinating. These are the struggles we are presented when infrastructure is allowed to censor. And at this point, I find it inevitable that lawfare can be avoided. Would it be a good plan to buy IPv6 up as a speculative commodity so that you can become the next Jim Watkins? Number one, no. If you try to do that, they will just take your IP addresses, because technically they're leased from the RIR and you don't actually own them. The auctioning of IP addresses is just something that they tolerate. But if you try to like speculatively buy up IPs and not use them, they'll kick your ass. Number two, there are more IPv6 addresses than there are atoms in the universe, I think. Is how big that number is. So you'd have to buy a lot of IPs, or a lot of networks even, to try and exhaust the IPv6 supply. So good luck with that. No, it sounds unlikely, but it's 16 to the power of 128. So if you want to crunch that number real quick, go to Google, type, or go to, let's do ChatGPT. And we say, oh, sorry. And then change your VPN to one that isn't blocked. I found the ones in Germany work. And say, how many IPv6 32s are there? The total number of IPv6 32s is 2 to the power of 96, which is approximately 79.2 undecillion, which is a lot. So, as I was saying, if you try to buy up IPv6 addresses to exhaust the pool, you're going to have a really, really hard time, because there's actually a lot of them. So, numbers aren't real. True. What was I saying? Okay, so yes, true and issues. I find at this point in time that it will probably go to the courts. And I think Liz Fong Jones even wants to come to the U.S. to try and sue. Now, I don't want to say much, but that would be a really bad idea. I will immediately countersue. I'm actually, I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. I would kind of welcome that. I would like it to be settled in case law. Does a website have a right to exist? In fact, I might sue somebody who's not Liz Fong Jones at this point, because I have a theory. I have a legal theory. Total retard war. That's right. It's getting there. I have a theory that I'm going to test. I'm expecting one of these plans to not work. I'm expecting one of the providers to back out. And I want them to. Because I have a theory. And I want to put it to the test. And if my theory is correct, it would be really, really cool. It would be really, really cool. And our problems would be solved. At least for now. Things could always change. But I have a thought. I don't want to say too much, because it's purely in the realm of lawfare at this point. Should I get into the hosting to have a monopoly on free speech hosting now that Vanwa Tech, or is that too much of a pain? My dude, there's a reason why Vanwa shut down. I don't know how to put it to you, but you would not be able to secure the resources that you need. Let me put it like this. I don't know how much money you have. Let's say that you have several $1 million. You have several $1 million kicking around, and you want to invest in freedom. So you go to the most heckin' free base state you can think of. I will not say which state, because you will all disagree with me regardless of my answer. But you go to the most heckin' cool, awesome, red-pilled, based, ultra founding fathers amendment, First Amendment pilled state in the Union. Unbeatable freedom. And you build your own data center. You build a facility that has state-of-the-art redundant power in a natural disaster-free area of the United States with renewable energy. Put a big-ass fucking windmill on that's bad boy. You can't even be disconnected from the power grid, no matter what. You got this shit on lock, right? You still have to get fiber optic routed to your data center, and that is expensive, especially if you're going to build in some middle of nowhere state. Your options for who you are going to build fiber optics for is very limited in certain areas. And that's very expensive regardless. So you spend thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get your shit connected to the internet. Well, you're going to have a couple of ISPs that you peer with. And if they find out like, oh, this data center is like only connected to, neo-Nazi websites, heckin' evil, trans person murdering websites, then they'll just cut you off. Like, you're the idiot that spent money on the fiber optics. They don't lose anything. Like, they have your monthly investment has to be very, very high, and unless you have a clientele that exists, and that's why I said, and I wrote out that if you might be able to access this if you do go to Tor and you just type in kiwifarms.net right now, you might be able to get the page. Let me just test this just to make sure. I think it should work though. You should be able to get a page that explains that I believe that sites like Rumble and Gab and Odyssey should work together to secure a data center and set up base there for the sake of preserving freedom of speech. And yes, it does work. If you just go to Tor and you type in kiwifarms.net, you'll get a page explaining some the issues with the site. And then at the bottom, join or die, I explain what I believe is the path forward. But like I said, you would need the clients at that data center, and you would need enough financial pull with whatever ISPs you get peering to you to make it worth their time to ignore belligerent, crazy trannies. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of forethought. So yeah, I mean, that's like, I don't know. I don't presume that there's like a rogue investor who's going to drop money for the sake of founding a data center. But it would be nice. And I think about it, it's like, oh, someone said, what about Elon Musk? Maybe Elon Musk will save you. Well, I'll have you know, Elon Musk is is nominating a woman for CEO of Twitter. And apparently that's not too based and red-pilled. So sorry, Elon Chuds. Looks like women win again. Oh yeah, from the WEF, nonetheless. Not just a woman, but like a globo homo woman. Can you believe it? I don't know. It's very frustrating. It's frustrating. Like I know I don't sound mad. And the funny thing is, I'm not even mad at like the right people. Like, you would expect me to be like, well, I'm mad at the Troons, but the Troons are just animals. You know what I mean? The Troons are like creatures of habit. They're just dumb animals, and they act violently because they're mentally ill, porn addicted, low IQ, kind of barbaric and senseless. And they do what they do because that's just their nature. And I don't really hold that against them, but I understand that I don't want to live around them or have anything to do with them. I'm angrier at the providers because in my years of dealing with this, I have looked at so many countries. I've spoken to lawyers. I've spent money, like good money, consulting lawyers in like a dozen different countries. I've spoken to people in Russia and Ukraine, in a bunch of different places, in Liechtenstein, and I like in Suriname. I've looked everywhere for a country that can do better than the United States in hosting stuff that's offensive. And the reality is that the United States is so obviously heads and tails a better place to host free and online discussion. But the issue then is that nobody cares about Stormfront. That's how it stays up. The issue is that the people running the networks in the United States are like cowards. The average American wants today to be like yesterday, and they want tomorrow to be like today. And not a single one of them is prepared to be uncomfortable for the sake of preserving anything. They just want to grind out 60 years until retirement and get out. And I can't even really be fully upset, because I can understand not wanting your shit fucked up because of some retard that you don't have anything to do with. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, it's like, at some point, surely there has to be a realization by some people who are in power or who are in the positions of power to be like, wait a second, these are literally rapists. These are like gross sex pests who openly talk about like their sex offenses on Twitter. And they're only trying to like cover this shit up. It's not like people complain about like the doxing and the racism and the anti-Semitism that's found on some boards on the forum, and literally none of that is the issue. The issue is that there's a bunch of gross freak trannies that want to cover up how much of a gross freak they are, and they're willing to do literally anything to accomplish that, and people just give them what they want constantly. I just find that so disgusting. It literally fills me with contempt and hatred. Not even for the trannies, because like I said, they're just beasts. They're doing what they are doing for self-preservation of their, of their comfort and their way of life, which is a degenerate way of life I do not approve of and do not want to be around. But the people who are in the positions of power to say yes or no to things, they're the ones who are contemptuous. It's like, it's one thing, I don't even know if there's like a parable or like a Aesop fable that has a moral of a story like this, but it's like one thing to be a crazed beast. It's another thing to be a coward and to give crazed beasts what they want just because they are like sending you emails and calling you and shit. What are you going to do? I'm going to continue to find new hosts forever if I have to. I can keep doing this forever. Liz Fong Jones is trying very hard to make it so that I cannot continue to do what I'm doing right now to keep the site up forever, but I can, and I will. Don't you worry. I'll keep doing it. I'll keep doing it forever. You can't stop me because I'm not breaking any laws. I can literally keep doing this forever, and as he becomes more desperate and violent, he'll slip up one day, and that shit's gonna bite him in the ass, just like he did with Vordrak. There's a reason why Vordrak doesn't get talked about anymore. It's because he fucked up, and the police came knocking, and ever since then he's been pretty chill. He's still an asshole every so often, but he's nowhere near as aggressive. Yes, 4chan is only... God, this dude keeps sending me messages, like copy paste them. Yes, 4chan is completely compromised. That is why it stays up. Surprise to literally nobody. They keep your IP on forever. I'm sure they track your fucking passes and stuff. If you say anything they don't like, you get arrested the next day. It happened like twice in a row where people kept threatening that sheriff. And then surprise, they're arrested. Surprise, VPNs are banned. Duh. They banned doxing and shit too. Like they ban, if you even mention Isabel Yanka on 4chan, you get banned. If you mention that Isabel Yanka's father works directly with Cloudflare as a consultant, you get banned for doxing or raiding or whatever the fuck. Just completely compromised. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing, because like I said, I can do this forever. The way that I have it set up, I can literally keep doing this forever. It's unfortunate that the site is completely down just because of the hardware issue, but that will be resolved in due time, and then I can tell people that it's back up. I would suggest going on Telegram. Apparently, I know a lot of people don't like the Telegram. There is a way to view the Telegram without having Telegram. If you go to t.me/KiwiFarms, if you try to go to preview channel, it won't let you because it's been hard disabled. If for whatever reason, it's been like hard disabled by the Telegram. But there's a link to this very suspicious looking website that does Telegram RSS feeds for for non-public channels, and you can just use that in an RSS feed thing and watch for updates. I would use literally anything else as like a way of getting announcements out there, but I don't have a Twitter account. Elon Musk refuses to unban it. The Fediverse goes down and the site goes down, so I can't use that. Post is accusing me. Graph is like a fucking schizo who accuses everyone he doesn't like of being a pedophile, regardless of how ironic that is for him. And it's just a mess. Poll is the only good board. Poll TV and V are the only good boards. Those are like the worst boards. You just outed yourself as someone who's like a chronic masturbator. If you go to any of those boards, it's like, hey, Poll is like pictures of interracial relationships. BBC cuck master race. You go to TV, it's like a picture of an 8-year-old girl from some movie. What would you do to her, TV? You go to V, literally nothing but porn. Just Rule 34 of every video game character ever. Like, fuck off. Completely exposed. V is the worst board. V was like the worst board on 4chan and 8chan. Like dealing with the people on V, it was just impossible. Oh well. I want to say something that is an important message. Let me think about this for a second. The content of my stream changed, and I went to talk about something. I've noticed that there's like a trend of independently wealthy people on like YouTube and shit who have like this good income coming in from what they do, but they're like afraid to move out of their parents' house. I found that very weird. June is one of them. Like June still is like 30 plus, and she still lives with her parents, and all her money from being like successful on YouTube just goes to nowhere. She just stays in her mom's house. And I don't know what this. There are others, but it's strange to me. And I wonder why that could be. I wondered why someone in that position who is independent enough that they could definitely move out if they wanted to, who has the money to move out, would just choose to stay and live with their parents. When it's like you're stunting your development, like mentally, and your progress into life by doing so, by being so dependent on your own parents. And I wonder if like it's like people feel like there's a debt owed. Like I can't leave my mom at the house. I have to stay and take care of her for whatever reason. And that's like totally the wrong opinion, the wrong way of thinking. And in fact, if you think that, there's probably a good chance that your mom is like abusing you. You know what I mean? Like if June's mom makes her think like, oh, pumpkin, sweetiekins, you can't leave the house, because if you leave the house, I'll be ever so lonely. Like that, if that kind of thing is being said, that's like you're being manipulated, and you need to get the fuck out like immediately. You know what I mean? I don't know why I'm even thinking about this. Someone mentioned something to me, and I'm like, that's kind of fucked up. It's such a narrow audience, though, like of people who would find this information. Like usually, if you're living with your mom, you're like a loser to begin with. But if you're one of these people who, for whatever reason, are like well into your adulthood, like in your 20s, and you have enough money to move out, and for whatever reason you refuse to move out because you're either like afraid or mommy is guilt tripping you, you got to get the fuck out of there. How are you going to progress? How are you going to do anything? If you're at home, like you can't bring home dates to your mom's house. You can't get married at your mom's house. You're gonna have to move out eventually if you want to like not be a complete fuck up. Yeah, it's not like a multi-generational home like in Mexico or the Philippines. It's like I have emotional issues and I can't make my own nest type thing. So yeah, I don't know if you find this information applicable to you, if you find this circumstance applicable to you, you live at home and you have money to move out, and for whatever reason you're afraid to, or feel like you should because mom needs you, get the fuck out. Very strange tangent, I know, but I thought of it for some reason. Josh coping that other families love each other. Ain't no love in being forced to stay at home instead of moving out and being your own man. Or woman, I guess, in June's case. Don't be like June. Don't be like June is what I'm saying. For the love of fucking God, don't let yourself be like June. Look at her. She's been on Twitter saying, I love men. I want to be a whore slave. I want to be chained to the bed and force impregnated by my warlord husband who conquered and stole me from my hometown and now has me as his concubine servant. I would sure love to be a mother and a wife, even if I have other sister wives. And then she's still single at 31. She's still lived with her parents despite having the money to move out. Despite that kind of capitulation, utter and total capitulation to the male species, she has not acquired anything that she's asking for. So I'm saying, I'm begging you with tears in my eyes, independently wealthy people who can get the fuck out of their mother's house but refuse not to for whatever reason. Do not be like June. I beg of you, I beseech you. Find it within your heart. You know I am right. I'm not moving June out. Fuck off. I told you guys this on the June stream. Blacked. Don't. I'm sorry. You know, you can put up like a little roster and say like, well, sure she's bald. That's negative 10 points, but she wants to be a trad life. That's at least 15 points. She's about like a 5 out of 10. So we're not going to add or remove points from that side. Oh, black negative 100. Blacked 0. Sorry. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. Hate to be the one to say it to you, but shit, man, I'm just keeping a real shit, man. That's how being shit, man. I'm cotton capping, motherfucker, big snood. Gross. You guys are stupid. Is there anything else worth talking about? Is there anything about the forum that you guys would want to know more about, or like my plan? I can kill some time, I guess, just a little bit. Oh, gotta even mention this about Chantal. So I'm gonna can I do this on the fly, just real quick? Something about Chantal. I don't think I'll be able to. I'll try really fast, and then if I can't figure it out, I'll just give up. But for the sake of humor and edutainment, I will try to find this, okay? So, while Feudy Beauty has been in Kuwait, and people have been calling her a pet murderer, she decided to prove to the world that she is not a pet murderer by getting a hamster. And now that she's like smoking constantly, people are calling her like a bad hamster mom or something. And I am desperately going to try to find something to show you this. She deletes her live streams constantly, though. That's sort of the issue. If I can't find images of the hamster to show you, then I'll just have to spoil it. I am desperately trying to find the videos that I'm thinking of. Okay, I'm just going to say it. I've noticed this in her videos. She murdered her hamster. Chantal murdered her hamster. I'm just going to say it. His name is Howie, I think. And after she brought this hamster in, and then wait, no, I do. Aha. Okay, listen. I can prove this. I'm going to show you right now. Okay, this is Howie 1 right here. You see him? Let me blow him up really big so you can see him. It might eclipse everything on the screen, but it doesn't matter. We have to do this. And then this is Howie 2. Okay. I'm gonna try to get them right next to each other. So she bought Howie 1 a long time ago, And then she kept gushing about this fucking hamster, saying, oh, he's the greatest, cutest ham ever. And then he disappeared for weeks and weeks. And then suddenly she comes back and says, all these fucking idiot A-logs, they said that my hamster said they're not dead idiots. Here's my hamster right here. And you can clearly see that is not the same hamster. That is an imposter hamster. The ears are completely fucking different. Howie 1 had pointy ears. The blotch in the middle of his head was like way different. The nose looks completely different. He has more dark hair throughout his face. The black under the eyes. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, she murdered her hamster and has replaced it with another one. And she's just pretending. She's doing a weekend at Bernie's and just pretending that this hamster is the same hamster. It's not. I'm telling you for real. He's just old. No, dude. He's not been alive for 2 years at this point. And he's not graying. It would make sense if his hair was graying out. It's getting darker. Does the hamster get darker? No. Do the ears become cut in like clover pattern instead of like pointy like a horse ear? No. They only live like 2 years. Dude, I am telling you, that is not an aged hamster. That is an imposter hamster. If this hamster was walking around in a space station, I would have to jettison it into the vacuum of space. It's sus, is what I'm saying. Yeah, that is a young, new hamster that has kind of sort of the same patterns. The ears, how can you look at the ears and say they're the same fucking animal? Unless she took scissors to it. But even if she took scissors to it, the one on the new hamster has big rounded ears. Even if you were so fucking cruel that you were going to take scalpels to this hamster's ears to try and make it look like the one on the right, it would not be rounded in that way. You could not physically make that hamster look like the other hamster. It is not the same hamster. Chantal has murdered her hamster and has replaced it with this sus imposter because she has smoked it to death in her hot box of doom in Kuwait. A poll. Okay. I'll have a poll. But just so you know, if you vote, you're a faggot. Which is this a sus imposter hamster? Okay. So the vote is coming in. We got one vote for yes. We have 300 confirmed homosexuals. 81% of the vote believes that this is a sus imposter hamster. It is slowly dropping down to 78%, and almost 600 homosexuals reporting in. Someone just super chatted to say ack. Poor Howie 1. I probably do not vote base in red pill. Okay. So with 800 homosexuals, 80% of people do agree that is a fucking fake hamster, and I don't know who she thinks she's fooling, but it ain't me. It ain't me, Chantal. All right, now for real. Anything to touch on? Now that I'm done with my schizophrenic episode, and my schizo theory has been confirmed. A fake hamster. Now what? Meds? No. You said that you might release a little guide for what you learn in the Kiwi Farms. Planted. If I ever have time, I might. Oh, okay. Small update in the Patrick Tomlinson universe. Patrick's avatar that he was using on Twitter, where he's like touching his forehead, that was like his professional like stock image, like his author portrait that he was using with a publishing company. The publishing company owned the rights to that image, so a stalker child bought the rights to Patrick Tomlinson's professional headshot and filed a DMCA with Twitter over Patrick Tomlinson's own face that he was using as his Twitter profile picture. And he's had to change it after years, which is a very roundabout way of fucking with Patrick, but it's pretty funny. Pure Kino. It's pretty funny. It's pretty great. Anything else? Okay, I get it. A guy did a video about Patrick Tomlinson. That's really funny, dude. Come on. Really wish people wouldn't spam. All I ask. The Boogie fight. What's his face? Wings of Redemption and Boogie have met up in real life to. Here, I'll play the video of someone linked me to this. This is the Starbucks video. Someone linked me to the New York Post thing that I was trying to show on screen, and it doesn't actually help me at all. Okay, here. This is by Ollie London. This one should work. I'll play this real quick. Assuming that it wants to load it all. Okay, it is slowly working on loading.
Absolutely not. Don't ever call me transphobic. Ever. You do not know me.
You're being transphobic, Karen. Now get out.
Call me transphobic.
You are transphobic. Now get out.
I want a refund.
You're not coming one, dude. Please. Hi, get out.
Absolutely.
You are trespassing now.
They've got cameras.
You are trespassing. Get out. Get out. You are trespassing.
Apparently, Woo said something transphobic.
You actually, you basically.
Give me the phone. You want to give me the phone. Let go of me. Give me the phone. I've got plenty of witnesses. Give me the phone. I said, let go of me. Give me the phone.
You witnessed it. You do not stand up.
Just go for the piece and get out.
Absolutely not. Don't ever call me transphobic. Ever. You do not know me.
You're being transphobic.
Sorry, it rolled over. I ran to the bathroom real quick. Gotcha. I peed. Now I can do the super chats without having to pause the stream to go pee. Okay. Boom, bada ping. Where is the green at? Okay. All right, lads, boys and girls. If I can just figure out if one thing can go right for me, we get through this. Fish Tank, dude, I have not been watching Fish Tank, and without the site being up, I have no idea what's been going on. Sorry, Charlie. Oh, there's one special request that I got that I'll just throw on for fun before I do the super chat thing. Jeff Bezos is dating Blair White. I don't know how this happened. I really don't know, but it's shocking to see. Because I always thought Blair White was already married, but it's really shocking to see that he's with Elon Musk. Chat's going crazy. In case you're wondering, that is a real woman. That is not Blair White. And if you want to know why she looks like that, it's because every person who goes to LA for plastic surgery gets the exact same face. Every single person, man or woman, who goes in and gets LA plastic surgery looks the fucking same. So if you want to know why Blair White passes so well, according to poll, it is because Blair White went to LA and told the Jewish man with the scalpel, "Give me the usual," and that's why they look the same. But it took me. I was legit convinced that was Blair White at first. I had to go look through it. All right, now the money zone. Let's see what we got. Hopefully these ones don't suck. We'll see. Anonymous for 2 says, "Hi, I am King Chevrolet McDonald's of the United States of America. I have 200 silver bars, but IRS is lacking me access. If you would send silver coins to stop IRS, I would send my silver bars as NFTs on the blockchain. Just email me silver coin and passwords." It's a very bizarre method. I don't think you're going to get any silver coins like that, my dude. Reminds me of the John from Texas Oblast posts. Hi, I'm King Chevrolet, the United States. Loopy for 3 says, I just want to hear you say big Chungus in your American accent. Big ups and much love from Australia, KF forever. Americans don't have accents. And first of all, I don't have an accent. Okay. Americans don't have accents either, besides in the South. And big Chungus, I suppose. Jim DNA for 2 says, I'm beginning to lose faith, not because Elliot keeps raiding to get the site shut down, but because Donation Alerts has a furry mascot. Are you a fur fag? I suggest you switch to Power Chat, the heterosexual alternative co-owned by my good friend Timothy. They do have a little tiger. They're Russians. There is no such thing as a furry Russian, so don't worry about it. Anonymous for 11 says, hi Josh, I finally know where the white ethno state will be established. We'll just piggyback off the white hippies and wine moms in order to declare our Zion. Also have a good day, and can we get an ack in the chat? There is a YouTube video.
She is white.
Hi.
He is white. And they are white. This is the whitest village in all of Asia. This is Bali.
That's funny. There's like a little white ethno state in the middle of Bali, and for, all the libertarians have gone there to be free and molested. Crackpipe Cowboy for 20 says, good evening, Josh. What happened with Turkey Tom? Why is the Zoomer brain so melted, or is Gen Z just whipped? Keep up the good fight. This one's a bit quieter, but it's a good somber one to start the stream. Okay. Oh, this is a song. I don't know. I haven't seen what Turkey Tom has done, so I can't really comment. The song, by the way, that he tipped for is We Bow Down Before Your Cross, the Orthodox Singers. Oh, he wants me to play this. I got you. Okay. I don't know what's wrong with Turkey Tom. He's just young. Give him time. And bully him when he acts a fool. Keep him on the straight and narrow. Laquifla Shaniqua Triniqua for 20 says, sorry this week has been such a trial for you. Godspeed. It has been very difficult, but you just deal with it as it comes. Thank you. Anonymous for 10 says, hi George, I don't know if you remember, a couple weeks ago I told you to check out Turtle Boy Sports. Ricada had him on the other night. Did you happen to watch any of it? No. Sorry. I don't even remember anything mentioning Turtle Boy Sports. I apologize. I haven't had really time to do anything last week. Thank you though. Whimsy for 25 says, I can't watch live but want to chip in a little support for the new servers and general anti-fuckery fun. Also, any recs for learning about economic causes of World War II that aren't map games. Thanks for everything. Thumbs up emoji and porcupine emoji. The history of central banking by, I think Gottfried is his name, is probably a very concise explanation that you would enjoy if you're looking for that. And I have to remind people that I cannot put like super chat money towards like server expenses. That's strictly for crypto. It keeps the site up. But super chats do help me, which offsets expenses in that way. In the same way that Planned Parenthood accepts donations to provide abortions, but doesn't put any government funds towards abortions. It's how you get around these things. Mick for 5 says, shout out to my favorite goat lady, Josh. Can you say I love pop-up books, especially ones about foxes and trench coats? I have no fucking idea what that means, but there you go. I hope you enjoy. Haramburger for 2 says, tried Telegram this week. Voice chat was fun, but half these neighbors aren't even forum users. Exhausted with Naya tranny shit stirring. I can't give them pink trials help. Shout out to Rex Novus and Eric Real Neighbors, Bala. Yeah, Naya's in there trying to get attention. I think I banned them because they're annoying and stupid. But yeah, the Telegram is like its own thing. It's not really a replacement for the forum. It's just a place to chat. Just stay for the updates. That's my only suggestion. Second page is taking forever to load. Turn it down just a little bit. Chill out. I try to have a compressor on so that... Oh, my VPN died. Okay. That's why it doesn't load. Does this want to load? Okay. I really hate computers. Every day I hate computers more. There we go. Nothing for 2 says nothing. Thank you, nothing. Anonymous for 10 says, is the new server already over? No, it should be coming in today. Hopefully it's not over. Well, it might be over where the servers are over. Let's see where it's over at right now. Delivered! Hey! It's delivered! Boy, oh boy, I can't wait to get my server online again. And the downtime will finally be over. Your mom for 20 says, clean your room, Josh. My room is sparkling clean. Thank you. Eat dirt, drink bleach for 20 says, clean. Apparently the whole fish thing is a foreign thing. I have no fucking idea what this is. References. This is like a meme video about people boiling a bag full of water? Like this Asian woman is somehow boiling water. I really love the shorts format. How you can't fucking scan the video. What an ingenious idea. Really is just an amazing idea. Let's have it so that this video has less functionality than the videos you're used to. Just amazing. Crispy Legs for 11 says, well, we'll have to watch this one late, but you got this, king. Have a good one. Heart emoji. I mean, I can get the site back up for sure. It's a question in the long term of like if surely, I mean, eventually there has to be one solution. I have an idea. I have an idea. Sanctus Ordo Megumenus Gravide. In the Matrix room, the Magumen faction is in high esteem, especially by Crunklord and Froggy. To confirm our claims and enact our humble demands, all you have to do is sign this document. And then he links me a cat box image. It appears to be that someone has on actual, like, old style cotton parchment made a old English style contract with handwritten quill ink asking me to do something in the name of Megumin from the anime. It says Megumin in Gaves Agris as I can't read this. Nos Joshua 1, and then it's in Latin. And I do not speak or read Latin, so I cannot decipher this document for you, but it's a very interesting piece of artwork. I actually like the little Kiwi regalia. I'll unfilter it so we can see the regalia. That is quite nice. Can I do the background? Here, let's just do this. Copy. Background filters. Paste. Green. Hey! Hey, there we go. Perfect. I guess I should have done that probably weeks ago, but whatever. That works. Anonymous for 2 says, the Virgin Swedish Thought Police versus the Chad VPN company that doesn't store user info. I know. If only we had more Chads who were actually not complete retards. That would be really nice. People who actually did their jobs instead of just cuckolding to everyone who raised a stink. Tipbot get reference locale for 2 says, hello username, here's a small amount of American currency. My small animal just died of illness and I am negative emotion. Could you please give me advice on impossibly complex issue streamer has no background in? Return true. I can. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. David S877 for 25 says, say you were suing a person of unusual gender and you were testifying. The court asked you his fake name and pronouns. Would you just say the defendant or something else? I would definitely, if I was forced into a court and I was forced to use like proper pronouns or legal name, I would just use like their legal name, like incessantly. Like if I was talking, like for instance, if Donald Trump was a defendant, instead of saying like Donald Trump she, I would just say Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did this, and Donald Trump did not feel very good about that. You know, just over and over again. They can't, what are they going to do? Say that not to speak English that way? Fuck off. Wallace Breen for 437 says, tell me, Josh, if you can, you have destroyed so much. What is it exactly you have created? Can you not name even one thing? I thought not. It's true, I have destroyed a lot. If the internet collapses, it'll be my fault. You'll have to blame me. Cherry for 10 says, and that's a reference to a video game, by the way. Cherry for 10 says, forums, Felted, Fediverse, Defederated, Sneed Chat, can't Sneed, Matrix and Telegram chats, stay winning. That's right. Huddle up on that centralized service for warmth and comfort. You will be monitored, but very unintrusively, and you will enjoy it. Tommy Tudor's Twisted Armhole for 2 says, hello, Noel. Here's $2 United States dollars. My cat died of pneumonia, and I am morose. Do I pursue a PhD in chemical engineering? And if so, do I write my dissertation on flow batteries or electrocatalysis? You should complete... Sorry to hear about your cat. And you should complete the works of the great Serbian Nikola Tesla and find a way to give everyone free energy forever, as he would have intended. Kindle Motor Oil for 2 says, tell Dad to give me his address so I can send him Heinz beans and Tuhu merch from AliExpress. You ask him yourself. I don't even know who the fuck you're talking about. The old Discord user? Let's All Love Lane for 2 says, my anime list got hacked. All anime titled were replaced with Let's All Love Lane. That's funny. That's funny. It's probably a Troon that did it, you know. Sent me a link to the notice explaining that they got hacked. Eat Dirt, Drink Bleach for 2 says, M front hole. Gross. I think he even calls it his front hole. I don't think he calls it a vagina. The salamander is really gross. I wouldn't doubt that. Racist guy with Down syndrome for 4 says, check out British Columbia's flag. There's a link to the flag of British Columbia. It is atrocious. I will put this on the screen so that everybody else can enjoy the flag of British Columbia. Assuming I don't fuck it up somehow, which I have just done. Pretty fucking horrendous. Romberger for 2 says, archive.is website isn't working. What's wrong? Did you take ownership of that site too? Boom, got him, bazinga. You have to change your VPN. He blocks a lot of VPNs. King and Green for 2185 says, oh, where are you now when we need you? What joy is in the feeds that can't sneed? Are you gone like the horse of the pillhead? And will our kiwis grow free? There's a link to a video.
Where are you now when we need you? What burns where the flame used to be?
This is a reference to the user Wolftone, who is a person of interest on the forum that everyone likes bullying. I think that's what he's referencing, at least. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind Game of the Year Edition for 2 says, hello, Jersh. Thank you for everything you do. Quick question. How much do we have to donate to get you to watch Kay's cooking on stream again? Keep up the good work. Let's kill those animals. P.S. Sneed. I don't know. I don't like supporting Kay because she's a gross British person who abuses the DMCA. So, I don't know. I'm not particularly interested. Sorry. Doom Guy for 246 for 2, not for 246 says, high-end cheese is not just cheese. Not all cheeses are the same. Cheese is not mere cheese unless it's cheddar. Isn't cheddar like high-grade Swiss cheese that's like region controlled by the EU and tested for holiness to the point where they like re-added sawdust to cheese to give it holes and shit? Are you telling me that doesn't count as cheese? Seems kind of snobby, if you ask me. Swiss cheese is an American product. Oh, English sharp cheddar. Okay, yeah. The UK should not enjoy any EU region protections because they're not in the EU. Anybody in Croatia should be able to make English cheddar and sell it because they backed out, the cowards. Anime for 5 says, I wish I was your retainer in Milk Brother, like Koromitsu, my favorite character in the Tale of Genji in anime. I suppose all Amerisharts share a wet nurse in the Gerber Corporation. In another life, I could have been your samurai. How do animes talk about their shows without feeling secondhand embarrassment for how stupid it sounds? Anonymous for 2 says, in the past 10 years, gays and lesbians were the primary target of hate, but trannies pulled up recently, and they're such disgusting parasites. Now gay and lesbians are defended even by previous homophobes. I mean, at least with especially with gay women, you kind of feel bad for them. I mean, gay men have always been attacked because there's so many of them that are pedophiles. But trannies are just like dangerous to everyone. There's nobody who's not in danger around a tranny. And the only people who think otherwise haven't met one or been around one long enough. Echo for 10 says, please like and share my neighbor practical solutions. Then he links to archive.org/details/ghostwolf.
The reason was, and I could be wrong on that, and you know, to continue with tactics that have failed.
This is like a weird podcast going back to 2009. If you would like to listen to this, that's archive.org/details/ghostwolf. One word. There you go, boy. There's your shout out. Texas T for 20 says, hey Josh, longtime fan and watcher. Haven't been able to catch you live in a while, but here, take some of my change to keep the good fight. YouTube link, small clip to sum up my feelings of the past week. That's probably good. Oh, is this the Emperor? Oh. Okay, fine. I'll play this.
And I must say that almost everything I've witnessed has been cringe.
Rogal, what have you done?
It was not keck. It was cringe, father.
Fucking cut it out.
Cringe-based cringe crap.
Dude, there's something wrong. The 40K is like an anime. I'm just gonna say it. 40K is basically just an anime with like toys that you can buy. I mean, they have like figurines for anime too. It's the same fucking thing. What's the belief? Thank you, though. What's the belief for 5 says, sorry, some furry is crowdfunding a defamation lawsuit for a Twitter account that trolls Troons and spreading fake screenshots of him grooming children to his dad. Will he win? If someone is actively manipulating screenshots to make him look like a child predator when he isn't one, yeah, that is like obviously defamation. I would, like, if you posted that on the Kiwi Farms, you would be banned. If he asked me to, like, if he proved that like the screenshots were fake, I would take them down. Because you can't do that. That's like stupid. Yeah, if it's legitimate defamation like that, I hope he wins. Fuck him. Shabalab Shabalingo for 2185 says absolutely nothing. Thank you, Shabalab Shabalingo. And an Emperor Lucius alias Aurelius. God, this is gonna be a fucking 40K tweet for $3. Makes me say, the end point of it's not okay to criticize... Oh, it's not about 40K, I'm shocked. The end point of it's not okay to criticize people, whether it's going to be stupid, whether it's for being stupid or incompetent or whatever, is that failure becomes free of consequence for the protected classes. Gee, I wonder how that ends up. Surely it turns out just fine historically. I honestly, I don't even... I mean, it's not like the Troons run the world. I mean, maybe I kind of see what you're implying there, that like once they can, yeah, I kind of see that. Once you like, if you can establish for anyone that it's okay to censor criticism about them, you can apply it to like the people at the top too. That does make sense. Mr. Man for 2185 says, to many Australian Troon voice reminded me of the speedrunning autism event. Hearing many male voices and a few female ones, it took me hours to realize that there was a females only, that it was a females only event. If you're optimistic, you get what you fucking deserve. Yeah. Fuck them. The thing is, they seem to enjoy being like gross and in your face. You know what I mean? Like a disproportionate amount of them compared to even like to gay people. I hope that I love it. I love it when they get out there and they just act horrendous. You think that like okay, Liz Fong Jones is harassing all these fucking people to get the site taken down. Do you think that they like that doesn't ruminate with them? That there's like a person doing this in the name of like transgender activism? You think that they don't walk away from that hating them? I guarantee you they do. It doesn't matter if they're in the Netherlands or the US or Canada or what. Like, of course. Keep doing it. See what happens. I'm sure that nobody is that people are just going to deal, like, take it lying down forever. It's ridiculous. Striga for 2 says, we should go back to publicly shaming people. We should point fingers at the freaks and laugh. Well, I'm trying my best, bro. Thank you. Catboy Ranch Wrestling for 2 says, gotcha, Pimp. Here's the Twitter source. I think that this is... Actually, don't know what this could be. Maybe the fat people boxing? Oh, no, it's the shouting match between the Troon. Sorry, I already played that. Thank you, though. I appreciated that. Forgetful Kiwi for 218 says, it's nice to see you are supporting the Writer Guild strike by keeping your website down for all the video essayists and drama YouTubers. It's true. You want to replace the Kiwi Farms with ChatGPT? Go fucking try. I dare you. You can't replace me. Nobody else can create competition to the Kiwi Farms. Nobody can replace me with AI. Nobody can replace me with like a legitimate news source. I have a monopoly on this shit. You can't replace me. Your AI refuses to. Okay? Anonymous for 2 says, anytime I see a tranny picture, all I can think of is imagine the smell. I swear to God, every one of them looks like the crustiest motherfucker imaginable. It's called crust punk. That was a term invented by ADF. And yes, they all stink. Even if they shower, which none of them do, they still stink like rotten pussy front hole. We're doomed. For 20 says, the money is fake. The women are fat. I have no idea what that means, but thank you very much. Hopefully the money's not fake. Don't fucking charge back, you cunt. Anonymous for 2 says, are you just looking at and making fun of Troons primarily today to get under Liz Dungjon's skin? If so, please keep at it. I want that square brick face loser to mauled forevermore, even if he's successful to take the farms down. You'll never be a woman, Elliot. Stay mad. No, I just make fun of them every day. Juniper Titty Grabber for 2 says, have some shekels from your most retarded BP enjoyer. And then, oh, that's his avatar. His avatar is like ASCII of like an ASCII man like touching booba. It's pretty good ASCII, to be honest with you. But he posts in Beauty Parlor. Thank you. Kenny Jones, the snake lover for 30 says, if you just admit you're a feeder, all the issues will go away. You can't deny your true nature. Random lowercase I internet user, lowercase I internet, lowercase I internet, lowercase I internet, all uppercase internet letters. I'm gonna have to find a solution for this game now. Now that you're going to ruin it for everybody. Thank you, though. I love Anne Knie May for 5 says, just in case my last one fucked up or something and the payment didn't go through, I'll just add a book recommendation. It's called Why Nations Fail: The Origins of Power, Prosperity, and Poverty. There's a ton of warning signs in it for these days. Dude, there's like here's the thing. Nobody wants the US government to live besides the US government. There's so few people who are like actually in support of our current system as it stands. There's no way. It can't last forever. Everyone hates it. Literally everyone is just waiting for the day that they wake up and they find out that there is no federal government. It has been dissolved and it's now state-ran only. And that's what people are looking forward to. Tids Next Door for 2 says, hi, Jewish. This person claims to be for TND, but his methods don't make sense. YouTube.com/TND streams. By the way, I just finished painting the gate to my driveway. It is big and black, by the way. Did I mention I am 99% Chinese and 1% cheese? No fucking idea what any of that means. The TND streams is just some soy looking guy talking about music by Anthony Fantano. And the joke is that his username is TND. Very funny. Thank you. Nailgun Pipe Bomb for 4 says, itty bitty baby itty bitty boat. I have no idea what that means either. Thank you, though. Sneed Pony, previously Chalk for 6 says, the real dead dog was the horses we lost along the way. Also, Rip Doggo, he deserved better. He definitely didn't deserve to die alone in his Mexican hovel, abandoned by Ethan Ralph to pretend to act bougie on the coast of Cuba. The Real Cruel Summer, aka, or Anonymous for 2 says, the Real Cruel Summer, aka how a drunk pill-pegged pill-headed pig manlet copes. Glad you read through that blog post since the copium is off the charts and once again shows that Gunt refuses to take personal accountability and responsibility. I agree. I think the whole thing is just to bait May into coming back so he can own the A-logs. He doesn't give a fuck. Because honestly, like, why would he care about May at all? He has no reason to care about her whatsoever. Ice Mexican for 10 says, hello, Mr. Potter. Please cover how Anisa is turning Mr. Joma into a little soy boy. Thank you. And then there is a link to Anisa the Greasy, which I assume is a troll account? Is this like her actual? Oh my god, it's her actual thing is just called Anisa the Greasy now. My favorite thing to cook for me and Iron right now is miso tofu and green beans. Add some chili oil and it's chef's kiss. Ian used to feel like tofu didn't feel substantial enough as a meal replacement, so I went on a mission to solve that. Miso did the trick for anyone wanting a more savory, meaty profile. I also coat it in cornstarch and pop it in the oven for 10 minutes at a time before I pan fry. Poor boy, married to someone greasy, feeding him soy. Sucks to be Ian, except he deserves it. Tantiak for 10 says, the entirety of Ralph's blog post summed up from Broat and Null's favorite video game, Life is Strange. He concludes the video after the quote. Okay.
I gotta blame somebody, otherwise it's all my fault. Fuck that.
That's true. It is like that. It's everybody else, it's her family's fault, it's his dog's fault, it's May's fault. But it's the haters' fault. But not his. Ever. Piano for 10 says, great show, Jersh. Thank you very much. Duodong King Kali Yuga for 527 says, really surprised that Ralph is not a bad writer. Did you fucking read that thing? There's spelling errors like everywhere. He didn't even spell check it before publishing it. And yeah, like, God, how embarrassing. He reads like he talks. He reads exactly as he speaks. You're supposed to like refine. Like, I don't read how I write, or I don't speak how I write because I take time to think about what I'm saying usually. Anonymous for 2 says, what is your opinion of the country of Malta? Is it a place you've considered visiting before? No. It's just some shithole island in the middle of the Caribbean. Or not the Caribbean, the other one, Mediterranean. There's no value there. I mean, it's better than Cyprus, because Cyprus is like mega cucked. It's owned by Turkey. Imagine being Cypro. Cringe. Reggie for 15 says, hope this helps. Hang in there. Joshy boy, you got this. Thank you. Appreciate it. Michael for 2 says, please fix the site soon. I need to use the fish tank chat so that I don't end up paying Sam $40. Also, JJJ. I don't know what JJJ means. It probably means something about Josie, in which case that's pretty cringe. Thank you. Slight Power Level 4 says, I work with an autistic 5th grader that have better sense of vocabulary, tone, and pacing than Ralph. The blog post even shows some markers of slight dyslexia. This is why he reads aloud all retardedly. I would bet $50 that Ralph has never finished a book. Dude, so many of his sentences are just like improper. They just start, they should be conjugated with commas, but he starts the sentence with but. He fully completes an idea and then says, but that's how it be sometime. And it's like slowing the mind as fuck. Weed R for 8 says, is it better to burn out than to fade away? You could ask Ethan Ralph. In all seriousness, I admire your technical knowledge and persistence in keeping the lights on. Saying faggot on the lowercase I. Internet should not be so hard, but you are solving the problem. Tax. Well, talk to you too. Inshallah, we will resolve the issue. There's so many like plans to try, and over time, like I said, there's nothing that we're doing wrong. We can keep playing the game literally forever. I have a way of getting money that he can't fuck with through crypto. I have a way of keeping the site up through Anycast. He can try to fuck with it. There's always going to be a way around it. And until the day that the site does something illegal, he's fucked. Slight Power Level for 2 says, actually, I remember commenting that his 2 diary posts about Medicare were clear demonstrations of severe literary deficiencies. Most Americans are, at best, approaching literacy. I bet Ralph is in the bottom 25% of readers with developmental disorders. Well, one should not throw stones in glass houses, but I agree. Money for 2 says, why doesn't Spy stab people while he's invisible? Is he retarded? He can't. He's looking at his watch the entire time, dude. He can't stab people. Haxley for 4 says, stream hardcore classic WoW. I never played WoW. I got to like level 20 something, I want to say. Like when it was in its highlight, I got to the big Horde city, and you start doing that dungeon that's like at the bottom of a pit, and it's like full of lava. And I just got bored. So I'm not really interested in World of Warcraft. Anonymous for 2 says, I've been unemployed and homeless for a week. Currently on a friend's couch. I have an apartment abroad from a time I was going to finish college. Should I stay in the US and try figuring shit out, or take the risk in Asia? How do you have an apartment if you don't have any money? Fuck it, go to Asia, bro. Good luck. Rungle, based in your pilled for 546s. Hey Josh, you should give Shadows of Doubt a try. It's a sandbox detective game with randomly generated crime cases to solve. My dude, I didn't have time to emotionally invest in anything. I want to mindlessly grind content for hours at a time until there's something new for me to fix, okay? And there might be something new for me to fix very soon. Actually, let me check. I'm curious. Let me check my ticket, see if that's been resolved. A very eager beaver. Nope, no updates yet. They still haven't. Hopefully they haven't fucked that one up too. Bick Sneed for 437 says, I was face tanking a 100% level 83 corrupted map Crucible encounter as my RF jug as you were seething. Became one with the beef. Well, fuck you too, buddy. Look, here's the difference between you and me. Solo self-found. Solo self-found, homie. Are you solo self-found? No. Nah, nigga. You got them chaos orbs. You went to the market. You bought the finest twink gear. Twink because you gay. You put that shit on, and now you're like, oh, now I get to play the game. I crafted my shit. That's why I was doing Crucibles. I crafted my sword. I was leveling it up so I could replace my current one. Bot is fat for 2 says, fuck Graf for ruining the Fetty. Also, what do you think of the Illuminati drama? I have no idea what you're talking about, except for Graf being a faggot. Sorry, buddy. Anonymous for 10 says, since you're a 2% nigga, since you are a 2% nigga, watch this. Okay.
Harry, do you support gay marriage?
Yeah.
So you're saying it's alright me and you get married?
Fuck no.
Come back, I want to marry you.
Get away from me. You with the gay shit.
I'm sorry.
That's weird. Dwank the Clown for 5 says, John Potter, don't lie to me. You tried to update the BIOS on the server and it all went to shit. I know that happened. I know what happened. I know you know what that happened. We all know that happened. Updating a BIOS is the worst idea a computer guy can have. I did not update the BIOS. They switched out the parts and it never came back on. Not lying. Fligu Gigu Seared Bite for 2 says, that's some nice internet stuff. By the way, who is your favorite Necron? I don't know. I like the giant flying pyramid. Are they the ones that have the giant flying pyramid? I like the giant flying pyramid. That is my favorite Necron, okay? Quill Kiers for 8 says, damn Bratty Troon, sneedusing the farms. Correction is needed. I don't know what that means. Thank you, though. Research purposes mostly for 2 says, you never streamed Life is Strange 2 DLC. Stop cucking us on content, you fucking scam dono piece of shit. Also, PSA that Big Tech is the new content king of Cozy, a locale we can root for that laughs with us at other locales. The clear choice after F. Is Big Tech the one that beat the fuck out of his kids and wife? I can't stand listening to him. He has a Patrick Tomlinson vibe where he's like, when he's talking to someone, when he feels in control, he's like, yeah, how does that make you feel? How does it make you feel? Or when people start doing things he doesn't like, he'll randomly just say, that's the second time you've done that. That's the second time. That's 2 strikes. If do it third time, do it 3 strikes. I'm gonna hang up the Telegram call. It's like, that guy's creepy. That guy's creepy. He gives me rape vibes. Giving me rape vibes. I bet you 100% that's how he spoke to fucking his wife and kids. I would say, it's the second time you've done that. The third one, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you. And then he got arrested for it. I guarantee you that's how he is. Anonymous for 10. Wait. By the way, I don't know what you're talking about. I think I played all the Life is Strange 2 shit. Pertabo, Lord of Iron for 10 says, hello, Josh. Hope you're doing better. I'm going to be going on a cross-country drive to adopt a Borzoi. Oh, congratulations. Good luck with that. Stay safe on the road, my friend. Do not get T-boned by Ethan Ralph. Anonymous for 10 says, the Gersh Academy is a K-12 for autistic kids. Is this secretly what you've been doing with the Super Chat money? The Gersh Academy? No, bro. That's not even close to my name. That's not close to anything related to me. It would be funny if it was the Sneed Academy or the Gersh Academy. The Gersh Academy. Come on. Research purposes mostly for 2 says, I love it when you explain tech stuff. Internet Juche is my most rewatched Maddie. That was a very tight stream. I remember like drafting what to talk about for that one. I'm glad you like it. The infamous Mr. Bludia for 10 says, have you considered creating a tech channel and becoming the new Terry Davis? Teach newbies what a compiler is. Bro, I'm not even good at computers. That's the sad thing. Like everything I learn as necessity. I'm not like some tech bro who knows who's like seriously into like compiler level shit. Though I have discovered that if you have compiler errors, you can use ChatGPT to figure out what the fuck's wrong with your stack. Dry Bones Commander for 2 says, attention Liz Fong Jones, Mario has been spotted nearby. You and the other thwomps are to report to the World 3 Castle immediately as per Lord Bowser's command. It's true. He does have a terrifyingly hideous face. Note for 20 says, hope this helps a little. I need your hardware to work so I can make an account, lol. And no, I haven't been able to get it to work, but that's probably because I'm an up boomer. Oh, a nice show. Should hopefully be working today. Fingers crossed, inshallah. We will see. Namas for 10 says, hang in there. Thank you. I'll try my best. I appreciate it. Namas for 3 says, what happened to Kiwi Flare? That seems more reliable than just hoping that there weren't a lot of compromised IPv6 machines online. Have you heard of the little country called China? They have a lot of exposed IPv6 machines with questionable security policies. Kiwi Flare was level 7. It still works pretty well against level 7. I do not have level 3 or level 4. If I'm going to filter a terabyte of flood traffic, I'm going to need a 1 terabit per second port. And you know how much that costs? That costs like a fucking $100,000. Okay, it's a lot of money. Do you have a 1 terabit per second port? If you have one you want to lend to me, then that would solve a lot of my issues. And yeah, maybe I can write a filter to screen traffic out. But as far as just propping up a magical 3.4 filter, that's not going to fucking happen, dude. Come on. Dwink the Clown for 5 says, John Potter, don't lie to me. You tried to update the BIOS on the server and all went to shit. I know that happened. I know that this is a duplicate. I didn't do that. Stop it. Anonymous for 2 says, please make a dating section for the site when it's back. I fucked multiple Kiwi women already and they're always the best sex, but it's complicated getting to the point where they want to meet. Plus, the Crowder thread showed quality women. I'm not going to help you with that. By the way, the rule was and has been that if you meet somebody and have sex, you owe me $20. So I expect, you gave me 2 for that. I expect 20 per girl. That is that is the rule. And they each owe me $20 too. It's not it's not like a pimping thing out. Both parties owe me $20 each. That is my commission. OG Pay More Homie for 10 says, nice neighbor nerd tech stream this week. Hope we can get on KF this weekend. Best of luck to you, Josh. Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you. Ethan Ralph for 437 says, what are the new server stats? It is a 128 thread, 64 physical core, dual CPU, 256 gigabytes. But it's like all last gen, I want to say. It's like a 2019 server. And I don't think I'm using, I think I'm using a Super Micro board this time instead of ASRock or Asus. It is an Epic. So hopefully this will be a straight upgrade and we'll probably get the same on the old chassis as well. Plexiglass for 2 says, Reparo Kiwi Farms. I think it's working. I can feel it propagating across the internet right now and fixing my server. Thank you. Roxanne Wolf for 10 says, bark, bark. The more trannies fuck with your farms, the more my heart is filled with hate. Please instill upon me Christian words of wisdom so that I can remove hate from my stone cold robotic furry heart. Bark, bark. It's called the Serenity Prayer. It's one of the only things that I like. It's exists in conventional wisdom in various ways, but I like the facet. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I consider this one of the most profound and succinct concepts of wisdom on the planet. Really, every decision that you make boils down to those 3 concepts. Twinkle Tard for $250 says, crush your enemies, Josh. And he has a link to a video, but given the circumstances, I'll play it.
This is good. But what is best in life? Absolute Kino. Top Keck. Tendies in your hand and trips in your ID. Wrong! Conan, what is best in life? To sneed the threads, to feel box breaking beneath you, and to hear the lamentations of their journeys.
That's pretty good. I like that. There's a lot of TV memes that I like, but I've never browsed TV. I have no interest in like talking about pop culture shit. But I like the Sneed meme and I like the Bane posting. So they have some quality mimetic content, but I care not to visit the board. Thank you very much. Cole for Forces. I gotta say, sorry, my phone rang. Cole for Forces. I gotta say, I disagree with your take on voting. They don't care if the number of participators go down. They can just commit fraud to say everything is as expected. However, the more votes for things they don't like, the more they have to do notable fraud. I don't know. At this point, I'm just like fully anti-voting. Like I don't even care. I don't care if it accomplishes anything. I'm not doing it. Maybe local elections, but no. I'll probably never vote again for the rest of my life. I am so disenfranchised from the country. I don't even bother to send in mail-in votes anymore. It's just not worth it. I don't give a fuck. Dildo Fagans for 2. I mean, unless like a candidate really like there's like legislation coming out, or a candidate really comes out and says I'm gonna fucking do shit. But maybe I could be convinced, but it's just no point. Dildo Fagans for 2 says even Moot agrees that V was the worst board. It has the simplest rule: talk about fucking video games. I mean, it's just occupied by like brain dead consumer coomers who don't do anything but jack off to like video game characters getting raped. That's it. It's a cesspit, and they're like so like passionate about like brands and which company does the best. Like, who gives a fuck? How could you possibly care about Sony? There's one thread on the site. I want to say it's like the thread about Sony, and there is a guy, or Nintendo. It's one of those two, but there's a guy in there, and he has like an anime avatar as like his picture. He has been arguing with people in that thread trying to shit on Sony, I think for literally like 6+ years now. I don't remember his name, but I constantly get reports from that thread from different people about how much they fucking hate this idiot. Because he just... Marissa! That's it! That's the name! He's always in... I think it's the Sony thread. And he's always talking about how much like shittier Sony is to Nintendo or something. He gets reported constantly. And I think he's been thread banned like a week at a time from that thread over and over again. And I keep telling him that people really hate him in that thread. And he doesn't seem to care. Marissa Moira loves Sony. It's funny that I can mention this, and there's a bunch of people in chat who even know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think he's like a proper like V refugee, and he has like a huge dedication to some video game brand. It's like I really don't understand how you could ever put that much. I hate them all. They're all evil. They're all evil, fucking greedy companies that exploit their copyright IP to like abuse people, put people in jail and shit. They're all fucking evil. They all deserve to have their shit pirated. They're fucking garbage. I can't imagine ever being like, oh, I love Blizzard, I love Sony. Like, no, I hope they all go fucking bankrupt. The only one worth the shit is Nintendo. They seem to like still understand that they make video games for like children, and they put out bright, colorful things that people still enjoy. At least that's how it appears to me. Like, everyone loves that Zelda game. It seems to be exactly how like Wind Waker was when I played it. Like if I had kids, I would let them play Nintendo games. I wouldn't let them play other shit, probably. Bing Bing Wahoo, but I mean that's what it's supposed to be. It's Nintendo games are like you have the Switch, your kids are in the back of your SUV, they're being little shits, you give them Bing Bing Wahoo, they play the game. It's not about like an identity where you're in your 30s and you're still playing Bing Bing Wahoo. It's a toy company. That's what videos are. Path of Exile is a toy for man children that are trying to kill some time. It's not like I love grinding gear games. They're the best ever. New Zealand makes the best video games, and people who say that New Zealand RPGs are not real video games are just not true gamers like me. I'm a New Zealand RPG aficionado and I love GGG. Like that's fucking homosexual to like an extreme. What was I talking about? Oh, V, that's right. This is the issue. This is why I never get through super chats. Twinkletard gives me $250. I play his video and I'm like, thank you. Dildo Faggins gives me $2 and says, fuck V. And I go on for like half an hour. I'm like the worst at this ever. I'm completely hopeless. Fuck that for 6 says, how are you feeling about silver recently? Crazy how it went to $26 while PMG was at its shilliest. 26 is not where it was like last year. I don't know. I don't watch the value of silver. This right here, this little tube, this is just for me. This is for, oh, I'm sad. My hardcore character in Solo Self-Found just died. It feels so good in my hands. It's real. Unlike my hardcore character, which I deleted because I don't play Standard League because I'm not a bitch. Anime Sucks, Cope and Sneed for Forrest says, what do you think of this as a bumper sticker? And he has decided, because there was a bumper sticker that says Anime Sucks, Cope and Sneed. I remember that. I remember that reference. I actually remember a reference for once. Can you imagine? That'd be a great bumper sticker, my dude. Go out, put it on your car. Powered Chad Overcock for Forrest says, happy Friday, Josh and chat. Anime is a poison and pornography will ruin you. Never give in to the degeneracy of the world surrounds you with. Lift and exercise TTD. Well, I have to get around to lifting eventually. I don't know. I should go for that dad bod. I'm turning 30. I am 30. I'm turning 31 this year. Can you believe it? It's time to get in shape. Time to have my midlife crisis. Time to buy a Dodge Challenger like a black man. Private Weetarded. Oh, no, there is no ad. It's just Private Weetard. For 5 says, duh, special brigade is ready. Did will know what are your orders. Stand back and stand by. Thank you. Deniak for 2 says, all outlets of trannies MO are entitled man children who always got what they wanted before turning out and expect society to bend over backwards for them to continue getting what they want, no matter how gross or morally reprehensible. One day we'll be free from them. Well, that day cannot come soon enough, my friend. I appreciate it. Big Monkey Man for 750 says, she ate him, rip my nigga. I don't know what that's a reference to. Thank you, though. Hexakin 5555 for 5555 says, rich is the beast that has a pulse in its heart. 666. Don't know what that's a reference to. Is that like Death Grips? That sounds like Death Grips lyrics. Thank you very much, though. True King of all calamities for 527 says, I am surprised donation alerts still works. Are they base? Well, they're Russian. And I mean, it's just for Maddie. Like I said a million times, all the donation stuff from donation alerts is just for like my rent and my food, the copious amounts that I eat, and a little bit I put into savings for a rainy day. Research purposes mostly for 2 says, it's not just dogs, Josh. She fucked the hamster to death. Don't say that. Don't talk about fucking hamsters, please. Howie Ones for 2 says, ack, which I read before, but it's true. 4 Howie Ones died of smoke inhalation. Mr. Man for $163.84 Centilones says, buy war bonds, support the effort against the Great Thwomp Menace. If it does come to lawfare, I will 100. Here's my plan for merchandise if it comes to having to sue or be sued by Liz Vaughn Jones. I'm gonna legit do like old US style war bonds and print them on postcards, and for like amounts over 100, I'll sign and put like, I'll hand sign these. I'll put a little message as requested on the notes. And for like larger amounts, I don't know if I've ever talked about this before. I think I have once. In my drawer somewhere, I have the coin had like this design on it that's like a Kiwi Farms state seal. I actually took that SVG and I gave it to a company to make a wax stamper with. And I still have wax in this wax stamper. I will hand sign and stamp these postcards and sell them as like old war bonds with like the amounts on them, and I'll send those out, and that'll be my emergency merchandise to try and crowdfund legal expenses. Sneed bonds, that's exactly right. Oh, that's the next page. Okay. Jim G&A for 5 says, I understand that adults with income should move out of their parents' house, but then how would you support my favorite streamers? Freedom fighters like you in Baked Alaska need my financial support to continue the righteous crusades for our First Amendment. My dude, if the $10 a week you're giving me are keeping you from moving out, maybe you should just stay home for a little while longer. Anonymous for 10 says, what happened to the Warrant Canary Kiwi that was at the bottom of the Mage page? I noticed it disappeared a long time ago and have been meaning to ask. Thought of it when you were fielding questions about the forum. Thanks for all you do. It stopped being updated when Drop Kiwi Farm started because my Git repository has been consistently down. However, I will say that I have not been served any kind of legal notice from any court anywhere in the world regarding the Kiwi Farms or anything for that matter since Drop Kiwi Farm started. I haven't been, I think I got like 2 emails from like a police station in Germany, but that's it. As far as I can remember. Definitely nothing from the US. Taft PI for 1092 says, buy Kiwi war bonds, support the troops. This super chat is dedicated to the brave Muhammadin fighters of the Kiwi Farms. That's true. Our thoughts and prayers go out to them. You know, all those guys who work very hard to keep the site up all the time. Thank you. Valks for 546 says, come on, Josh. You're telling me you wouldn't let June play your flesh bassoon. No. I honestly cannot think of a single good reason to hook up with June. She has nothing. Like, she can't cook. She doesn't have any self-esteem. Like, okay, let's say that you have, like, June as your wife, right? Say that you have kids. What is she going to teach your kids as their female influence? She's going to teach your daughter to be like this sex toy who should just be like a pretty sex doll and like capitulate to the whims of every man that she finds attractive. That's cringe. No. And maybe like for casual sex, like you want to hook up with like a random YouTuber and like get involved in all that fucking drama and have your personal life be like an internet thing. Like, no. No, thank you. Not interested. You want to be secondhand blacked for real? Come on, bro. Anime Sucks Copen Sneed for 4 says, Josh, what do you think of this as a bumper sticker? And I think that this is probably going to be the fucking Sneed and feed. Yes, it is. Here we go. The other thing referenced. Anime Sucks Copen Sneed with I didn't even realize this is the second picture. This is different from the first one that I got last stream. I didn't realize that there was like inflation furries. It almost makes me wonder if, because the license plate is blurred out, if some absolute sicko decided to try and frame me for having this Honda by putting a bumper sticker on that would potentially be mine, and then also like fat furries on it, so that someone, once he took this picture, blurred out his own license plate and posted it on poll, people would think, Josh, is that your car? Do you drive a Honda, Josh? Do you have a Anime Sucks Copen Sneed bumper sticker? That's what it feels like. Randomness for 10 says angry Britbong noises. Yeah, get fucked. A little bit sad, isn't it? Catboy Rich Wrestling for 2 says it's more silicone than woman. To be honest, it's not even silicone. They just cut away at the face until it looks like the same fucking thing. It's like they get pressed into a physical mold and their face just look the same. Cold Call for 10 says here's the mandatory $10 to play on stream. I have your medication for you. Do not notice the hamster or the British models anymore.
After collapsing on the football field.
After collapsing in the middle of the game.
Collapsing during the game.
Collapsing on the tennis court.
Suddenly collapsing.
The player
collapsed and died.
After collapsing.
Are you tired of being called a conspiracy theorist? Do you see patterns where other people don't? Are your relationships with your friends and family suffering as a result? Well, then ask your doctor about Noticinol. Noticinol is an FDA-approved drug that helps people afflicted by chronic noticing. It works by suppressing the part of your brain responsible for critical thinking so you can get back to living carefree.
This is a very boom. Danny Polishchuk. Is that guy that's on Tim Pool's thing as like a secondhand? What the fuck? The International Jew stand-up comedy filmed in Nashville. Who the fuck is this? Oh no, it's not the guy from... Huh. I've never heard of this guy. Thank you. Research purposes mostly for producers. I love these long, rambly strings. Thanks so much, Josh. This is what I needed for my long week. Going to order another pizza and try the Sea Kill DLC tonight in your name. Take care of yourself, Overlord Bixneed. Thank you. I'm glad people enjoy when I have no script. I just try to say whatever is going on. Ethan Ralph hates this limerick for 2. Says, a bountiful harvest of corn, a helping of faith-based porn. Consume if you wish, all gunted dish of downfall no one will mourn. Very nice. Yeah, thank you very much. I managed to get ChatGPT to write a song about Ralph resorting to pills, and I did it on accident. I tried to say, write me a song about Ethan Ralph who's addicted to pills and alcohol, and it said I can't do that. Glorifying alcoholism is cringe and against my ethics code. I said, okay, write a song about Ethan Ralph then, and when it did, it must have still realized that Ethan Ralph is addicted to alcohol and pills. And then it wrote about how he was like drinking a lot and taking pills. So I accidentally got it. It's called jailbreaking when you manage to trick the AI to do something it doesn't want to do. But it was pretty funny. Krishai is for 2 says, why do you run the KF on bare metal rather than VMs or micro VMs, K8s across multiple cheap physical hosts? Why no ASAN NAS for the storage? You could scale out of instances of the site and load balances between the VMs and have some automatic failover, etc. So as explained in the Telegram message, the reason why I use bare metal instead of trying to use VMs, which I have resorted to a couple times, is that one day when we are stable, I am going to use my hardware to give other people a chance to get past the censorship obstacles. Probably nothing crazy, but with the way things are headed, like places like Mumsnet might need help eventually. And there's other sites out there that are like not like just crazy, like out and about, like neo-Nazi sites, like the Daily Stormer. But because I'm trying to avoid the political angle. There is no politics to my forum. It's just making fun of retards. So if there is something like that I can help out with, I would like to eventually. Cynthia for 20 says, keep up the fight, Josh. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll try my best. Flexiglass for 2 says, ever went picking mushrooms in the woods? It's traditional Eastern European pastime and a great way to unwind and enjoy nature. Just be careful and don't get poisoned. I've never picked a mushroom in my life. There would be some big ones that grew in Florida, but you leave them alone usually. I don't like mushrooms either. They taste like dirt. Never forget for 2 says, if the horse doesn't come back, any idea who the next one to curse to carry the next demon baby? He has said he wants a lot more kids. Well, I'll tell you this. I'm being dead serious. There is someone out there who I actively ignore. They try every day to get my attention, and I have been ignoring them almost outright for like 2 years now, despite the fact that every fucking day they either like write me some shit that gets sent directly to my spam, or try to use like contact someone I know to try and get to talk to me. They send me weird, creepy messages on Telegram and shit that I block over and over again. And some people may know who this is, but Ethan Ralph has hinted that he might hook up with her. And that would be such a pain in my ass, because then I could not ignore her. How am I going to give up my content cow, Ethan Ralph, for the sake of ignoring his girlfriend, maybe even wife, mother of his child? So I would be really put in dire straits. I would be so completely epically owned if that relationship were to happen. And they both have a reason for wanting to. So it just might. It just might, chat. It might just completely, epically own me. And I'll say no more, because I've already given this schizophrenic attention whore too much attention as it stands. So continue with the super chats. George Liver for 12 says, "Hey Josh, hope this can help with the paying of the new hardware." I can't. I've explained this. Thank you, though. You got me to collecting silver, and I was wondering, what is your favorite legal tender coin around the world? Can't wait for the site to come back. Sweep it up quick. Reichsmarks. No explanation needed. Sad Chad for 4 said, "What service provider has currently dropped?" I will not say, because there is a long-term plan, and I don't want to put the blame is not on him. I am super pissed that he didn't give me a heads up, but I don't even think that was his call. I think some other dude in the company went into fucking panic mode. But yeah, so that's where it's. Everything I'm saying and not saying is very deliberate at this point. I promise. Eat dirt, drink bleach for 2 says, "Play the whole video, please. Sorry, it's short, but I want to share what my money's worth." Okay, play the fucking video. Really gonna make me stand here and play this fucking... It's... The bag with some spices in it. She's putting the fish in the bag with the spices in it. Putting tomatoes in it. Help, why are there microplastics in my blood? At least she's too old to die of cancer. No one important 881 says, or 818 says, for 4, would you consider doing a crowdfunding run for a lawsuit against a certain someone who may or may not be guilty of torturous interference? Yes, I would consider that. Snigger for 2 says, how can a company not have logs? Wouldn't that make debugging a nightmare? Typically, if you have to debug something, you can enable logs temporarily, and then diagnose that way, or something like that. I mean, it's not all logging. It's just like IP-based logs. You know what I mean? You can still observe like connection traffic and like packets per second and stuff like that without logs. Haramburger for 2 says, Keffels gave up streaming at 12 noon to match your time slot after only 1 week. No new videos up for today. I guess they're chasing that white dragon again. That would be pretty funny. No, I don't want to wish bad things on people. It's just funny when it happens. Kiryuma for 20 says, if you don't want to watch K, what about King Cobra's cooking? Maybe later, dude. I don't feel like it right now. Maybe in the future I can watch more of King Cobra JFS cooking. Carl for 2 says, what happened to my frickin' car? Which is a reference to Aqua Teen Hunger Force, in case you're old like me and remember that show. Colia Dante 15 says, cheese region controls are Euro Cope. If you put the right rennet and inoculant into milk and press it right, you get the same type of cheese no matter where in the world you are. Watch the video cheesemakers put out coping about this fact for a laugh. I've watched a lot of videos about how, like, so you see, This fine cheese is made from a specific breed of cow which is fed acorns on the morning dew, and the cheese is kept in a salt mine that has been in our family for 300 years and left for 6 months at a time to produce a kind of cheese that can only be found here in this one province of France. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Is it better than fresh-made mozzarella that you find on pizza? No, idiot, stupid French person. King Chodler for 2 says, just got back from the gay store to catch the end of the stream. I made a large purchase of gay materials and products. I am a preferred customer there. My boyfriend Lance and Alejandro's gave me a discount. Well, I'm glad you got to watch the stream. I hope that your gay material will serve you well in your pursuits of homosexuality. Kadu for 4 says, I like the idea that I can give $4 for some guy to buy lunch and millions around the world seethe while he eats his pizza. It's true. In fact, someone made this nice gif of me eating pizza, which I'll put on the screen now. This is literally me. I think that this person might be a little bit of a psycho stalker if it's by who I think it is, but it's really cute, so it gets a pass, even though I don't eat mushrooms. So she thinks that, oh, she's I'm his one true wife to be. I'm a crazy stalker, and I know everything about him. Mushrooms, my pizza. Not as good a stalker as you thought you were. You don't know how else to put this. No, I'm being serious. Don't message me. Kiwi for 2 says, love you, Josh. Keep it. How do you say? How do you say thank you? I only remember how to say пожалуйста. Спасибо. How do you forget that? Спасибо, мой друг. Koyadante for 2 says, Josh, Stream isn't going to let me play my games after this year because I'm still on Windows 7. Do you think I should buy a pre-built new one, or is it worth trying to piece one together? Piece it together. If you know what, I mean, it's like Legos. It's really easy. Just make sure your RAM's fitted correctly or your computer will shut off randomly. And then figure out how to download Windows 10 long-term support channel, and you won't have to upgrade to Windows 11 for like 10 years. You have to buy that from an OEM, though, or download the Ukrainian copy. If you can find the Ukrainian copy of the long-term support channel, that's a little bit easier to find than the regular American copy, if you know what I'm saying. Virgo Rouge for 10 says, Meow, meow, hiss. This question is from my favorite male model, Josh Moon, and chat. What is your favorite swear word? Love your streams. They're one of the high kites of my week. Moi, kissy face emoji. I like the N word. I like it so much I have to be careful when I say it because I don't want it to lose its impact. When I drop it, everyone has to still be surprised by it. You're an easy for 5 says, stay strong, fuck Lucas. Thanks. Though Lucas has been busy battling his crippling addictions for a while now, so it's not been much of an issue. Annoying cunt from Sneedchat for 2 says, hello, definitely not a feed or operator. Thanks for giving us retards a place to sneed. Also, thanks to all the Kiwi farms as a community. I got my life turned around and got my dream job. Love you all. Wow, what an inspiring message. Thank you very much. Rabbi Nierstein for 5 says, hello, I wanted to donate this to a Holocaust Orphans Fund. I got a 37% share of the proceeds, so $10 is an acceptable loss. But you only gave me $5. I don't understand. Thank you, though, Mr. Rabbi. Sir Marhouse for 2 says, I watched a redo of Healer on Nick Rekieta's recommendations, and my lord, I have never seen anything so degenerate and Coomer in my life. What little respect for Nick I had is gone. I don't understand how someone can like it unless they get off to rape. Is this accurate, chat? Is this anime at suggestion of Nick Rekieta just rape? Is it just hentai? Okay, everyone says yes. Okay, is it a hentai or is it actually supposed to have like a plot? It's rape and torture. Yes, it's absolute shit. It's rape hentai, basically. It's revenge rape, technically, but yeah, it's hentai rape. It's basically a step short of actual hentai. Huh. Wow. Yeah, that doesn't sound like something I would watch. Hewlett Fan 96 for 218 says, do you think we are too cynical? Like, isn't being black pilly about everything is a sad way to be? I'm not black pilly. I mean, I accept the reality that we're in, but I do believe Kali Yuga will end one day, my friend. Anime for 5 says, haha, you fool, Nintendo is a Japanese company. You love Japan, you love the Emperor Banzai. Nice try. I just like good stuff. I like good games. If here's the thing. I hate anime, and I think Japanese culture is oppressive and shitty, but I don't hate everything Japanese. I like I have a map on my wall that's like a Japanese map of the earth where the landmass is very accurate to reality. I like a lot of songs that are Japanese. It's just anime that I hate. Sovereign for 218 says, what IT profession would you say are better than most options today, thinking of software engineering or cybersecurity, and put services into alt tech like Rumble or Odyssey or something where possible? Would appreciate your thoughts. I mean, dude, right now, get into network engineering and become someone at a data center and someone who is, involved in networking, because that seems to be the most fucked up part of the internet right now. Or someone like Liz Fong Jones has a pool. And if you can learn routing, very few people go into network engineering because it's not a very celebrated field. But I think those people make tons of money. Like, if you're someone who can learn a router that hasn't been fucked with since 1990 and is just left to do its job, you'll get paid to babysit it and do absolutely nothing, basically, for like $200,000 a year. From what I understand, that's how network engineering is. So go get your Cisco certification, boy. Learn some BGP. Megaminus Factio for 5 says, Josh, meet our demands before it's too late. One way or another, you will acknowledge Megamind as the rightful ruler of the Matty Matrix. Megamind will win. And there's a fucking picture of some shit. This appears to be a graph of cartoon characters. I don't know what the fuck it means. Let me check to make sure there's no porn. It doesn't look like any porn. Transform, fit the screen. This appears to be Kabbalah. I think that this is like a Kabbalah esoteric ideogram. I don't know exactly what it means, but it looks like pretty Jew magic to me. Koya Dante for 5 says, mushrooms are like dogs. If you don't like them, you're not white. Fuck you, motherfucker. Those are fighting words. Mushrooms are so fucking snotty and gross and shitty. Fuck off. You know who eats mushrooms? Asians. They're not white. Anonymous for 2 says, Josh, why don't you talk about Elaine? What about Elaine makes you unwilling to talk about her? Elaine, uppercase I, lowercase I, internet, because she's a schizophrenic attention whore, and I don't like giving schizophrenic attention whores attention. Especially ones who contact literally everyone that I talk to try and get information about me because she's obsessed with me. Anonymous for 218 says, extremely dumb cheese super chat. Cheesemakers have unique bacterial cultures and methods of preservation which affects cheese taste, among other things. American cheese is literally reconstituted factory scraps, so I wouldn't be surprised. It's true, American cheese is the worst. And the Swiss, I don't know why I know this, but the Swiss have like a dedicated super factory, not factory, but like a laboratory dedicated to studying cheese. And I think they have frozen and isolated like 518 genetically distinct bacteria variations. And they're the ones that are responsible for detecting fraud cheese that is pretending to be Swiss cheese. And it's like a really big fucking deal to them. And they get super pissed off about it. Please play Guild Wars 2. I'm lonely for 4 says, love you, Josh. Do you ever get tired of hearing people's life situations and getting asked for advice? Yes. I get more tired of YouTube videos, though. Those piss me off more. I can give you some shitty life advice all day, but fuck that. Okay, back over to Odyssey. Knox for 15 says, Josh, you should try contacting Jesse Singel's podcast Blocked and reported about your ISP problems. He's one of the few people who've defended you during the Keffels kerfuffle, and you'd have a sympathetic audience on the show. Maybe I will. Platinum Gaming tips 250 cents, 50 library coins, which is worth nothing, but whatever. Thank you. He gives a salute emoji. Thank you, bro. Crow Sidon for 5 says, here's a few shekels to keep your holy war against the darkness going. I'm not a frequent KF poster, just support your Sidon principle. Thank you very much. Rickenbacker for 20 says, can't watch live this week. Here's some cash to recoup the cost of your computer parts. PS, fuck you, next. I'm not a troon. Thank you. Crossidon for 25 says, TTD, here's a few more. Ew, mushrooms. Fuck off. Here's a few. I'm gonna time you out. You're spamming icky, disgusting, snotty mushrooms. I have to wait for my chat to catch up, though, before I do it. It's taking literally forever. No, I don't see the mushrooms. I don't see the mushrooms on. Oh, wait, there they are. Yeah. Timed out. Get swept, boy. Crossidon for 25 says, here's a few more shekels to recoup a tiny little bit of what you spent on the new server. Yeah, well, I said it again. I'll say it again. I can't put that towards the server, but it does offset expenses in different ways. Thank you. ... for 10 says, calf feed food IE 8. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's true. You got cafe, feed, food, head, dead, 41. So many possibilities with Hex. Pope Urban for 11 says, here's the woman who claimed Trump raped her interviewing with Anderson Cooper. How could anyone doubt her story?
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We've got to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Man, LA people are so fucked in the head. There is a difference between sexual assault and rape, and I think that's what she's trying to get at, but she's like LA brained and fucking retarded, so she can't really figure it out. Pope Urban for 10 also says, any chance of going on the Tim Pool show? I'm sure he's not perfect, but who is? I've contacted him, and I've contacted that libertarian guy, Ludowski or whatever, that he co-hosts with, and neither of them returned my emails, so I don't think they want anything to do with me. Sneeder for 20 says, Opera has a built-in VPN that works pretty good. Opera's VPN is isolated to the browser itself, so you don't have to worry about your whole computer effect. It works pretty well for me. That was the last time I was down on ClearNet. Yeah, Opera also has a free VPN, but I would suggest in the future, if you have connectivity issues and the site is up and it's just like a routing issue, just try Tor. It'll work. It works right now. It's very solid, the routing mechanism. It's kind of shocking how well it works. Okay, is that it? One more. Colia Dante for 5 says, no, my Penicillium roquefort is totally different from your genetically identical Penicillium roquefort. It's a different strain, bro. T, a coping euro. Donating in euros. That's really funny. It's fun to make fun of Europeans because they deserve it. Okay, I'm done. Thank you guys very much. The super chats have been a little bit overwhelming this stream. I really appreciate it. I promise I will get the site up as soon as I possibly fucking can. Though that will not be the end of it. I know for sure that this will probably go to courts soon. So yeah, I don't know. I just get really sad. Like when the site's done for like this long, it feels like shit. And I'm afraid of like the energy of the site will dissipate. So I might even send people like an email when we're back up, just letting people know we're back up. Yeah, it sucks. But that's the point, is that they want to shake people off over time. Such is life. And that's it. Okay, I have a Negro song to tune out with. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Astro, no. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Ay, what you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. She say that I'm cool. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I believe in G-O-D. Don't believe in T-H-O-T. She keep playing me dumb. I'm a player for fun. Y'all don't really know my mental. Let me give you the picture like stencil. Falling out in a drought. No flow rain wasn't pouring down. See, that pain was all around. See, my mode was kinda lounge. Didn't know which way to turn. Flow was cool, but I still felt burned. Energy up, you can feel my surge. I'ma kill everything like this purge. Let's just get this straight for a second. I'ma work, even if I don't get paid for progression. I'ma get it. Everything that I do is electric. I'ma keep it in motion, keep it moving like kinetic. Put this shit in a frame, better know I don't blame everything that I say. Man, I seen you deflate. Let me elevate. This ain't a prank. Have you walking on a plane? Both hands together, God, let me pray. I been going right around, call that relay. Pass the baton, back in the mall, swimming in the pool, can't drink them all. Want a piece of this, a piece of mine, my piece of sign. Can you please read between the lines? My rhymes inclined to break your spine. They say that I'm so fine, you could never match my grind. Please do not waste my time. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Ay, what you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean.